welcome to the Superhero Cinephiles podcast. I am half of your host, Perry Constantine.
And I am the other half, Derek Ferguson, coming at you from Brooklyn, New York.
And I'm coming at you from Kagoshima, Japan. And this is a first for both of us, as well as for people who are watching the show. Those of you who are listening to the podcast, you can't see, but we're doing video now. We thought our big 50th episode was a good time to try this out. And this is actually the first time Derek and I are looking at each other face to face.
We were just saying that before we started all of this, that we said that we've known each other for a good at least 20 years.
Yeah.
And this is actually the first time we've ever seen each other face to face. So, folks, you are in the presence of a milestone here.
There you go. Yeah. So how you doing today, Derek?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much. I watched Avengers again for the second time today. I watched it last night. I watched it today and got some writing done because it actually snowed here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had like what they call like a nor'easter. It was one of those crazy storms that like blew in for like 20 minutes and came down real intense. And then all of a sudden it just stopped and the sun came out. And a half hour later, you would never even know that it snowed.
Oh, wow.
It was that kind of, Occasionally
Yeah.
we do get them here like that. Yeah. It was crazy.
We get that like once a year here. There's like one day a year, every year without fail, when there's like there's a bunch of snow and then it's gone by like midday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get that only one day a year. Only one day a year, and I can live with that.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the only time that it can snow is Christmas Eve. It snows Christmas Eve, snow hanging around for Christmas Day. Then temperature goes up to 70 degrees, get rid of all the snow, and that's it. I don't have to look at it again. If I had my way, but hey.
All right, so just a few bits of news because we got a big episode. We're live. We're watching the Avengers live and giving a commentary on it as we watch it. But just two things that I just saw. First is we were just talking that Tyler Hoechlin's got a new suit for Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've seen the suit, it's kind of like this. It's like a weird mix of Henry Cavill's suit and, in some ways, Brandon Routh's suit from Superman Returns. Like it's got like the high neckline, like in Superman Returns, and the shield's a little bit smaller. Plus, he's got like the little. It's not an actual. It's just the shape of the S shield on the belt, but no trunks, and he's got the rest of it, like the texture and everything, is a lot like the Henry Cavill Superman suit. Like it's got that ribbed kind of texture, and it's like a darker blue.
Yeah, which I liked. I like the texture of that suit a whole lot. But I'm with you. I don't like that collar being all up around his neck like that.
Yeah.
I like the more. It gives him a more relaxed look, I think, when he, the wider, more open collar.
It also makes more sense from a practical point of view because he's got to wear a shirt over it too.
Yeah.
So I don't like the high neckline, and I think the S shield is maybe a little bit too small. I'd like it, be a little bit bigger. It's not as small as Brandon Routh's was, but it's still a little smaller than I'd like.
Well, as we discussed in the our very first episode, the Superman episode, I had seen an interview with Christopher Reeve, had said that the costume designers had told him they made it that big because it makes his chest look wider.
Yeah.
And I said, and I never thought about that. I said, wow. Yeah. So that's why I think that just for that reason, if nothing else, the S shield should be as wide as possible to cover the actor's chest. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Something else too I noticed, and I didn't really notice this before with Hoechlin's last suit, but he had kind of like the thicker belt. And now that it's like this thinner belt, it's more angled, it actually makes him look bigger and more powerful. Like the bigger belt actually made him look smaller than he actually is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I always had the impression he was kind of short, but I think he's kind of tall.
Well, I think it was also when you were looking at him in comparison to Brandon Routh, who is taller than him.
Yeah,
that was also that was part of it as well.
Yeah, because Brandon Routh is something like 6'1", 6'2", I think.
Oh yeah.
I think he's something like Yeah.
So that was one piece of news. The other piece of news is, and I don't want to get my hopes up about this until I see an official press release, but it looks like Charlie Cox is coming back for a third Spider-Man movie as Daredevil.
You know what? How can I put this? It sounds to me like they're trying to go for a live action Into the Spider-Verse.
That's what it seems like to me too.
And I'm just afraid that they're going to throw so many. My thinking, and this is purely my thinking, is
Mhm.
that okay, we've got Doctor Strange movie coming up, which is going to play with the multiverse,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if this is going to be like the second half of that.
I'm wondering that too. I think that's a good point. I think that
If it's
might
going to
have.
be right, and if they're doing their version of the Flashpoint,
Mhm.
where they're going to restructure a lot of stuff and maybe
Mhm.
bring in the Netflix MCU and firmly establish that this is a part of this new universe now. I'm
Mhm.
wondering if that's in the back of my mind that they're going that way.
Yeah. Well, something interesting about the Netflix MCU is you could easily incorporate that in because it was small scale enough that you could easily say that it fit in between the scenes. Agents of Shield is a little bit harder because they started messing with time travel and they destroyed the Earth at one point. So
Yeah.
that becomes a little bit of a harder pill to swallow. But I think the Netflix stuff you could easily kind of squeeze in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
because they made enough references in the
Yeah.
various TV shows that yeah, you can say, okay, well, this happened in between there and I believe in Daredevil they did make specific references to events in the movie
Oh yeah, that was one of the
from time
things.
to
Is
time. Yeah,
that was how Fisk became so powerful because you can't do it as the old Hell's Kitchen, right? Because like you said when we talked about Ben Affleck's Daredevil, that's a version of Hell's Kitchen that hasn't existed in like 50 years.
oh yeah, not since 1970s. Yeah,
Yeah, so you can't do it with that way. So they did it in a really smart way where they kind of established that it was after the Battle of New York in Avengers that
right.
everything was basically leveled, and then Fisk was coming in and building it all back up.
Right, and that's how he made his money, becoming a real
Right.
estate developer,
Yeah. Yeah.
which to
Yeah.
me was a smart way to go because
Yeah. Same
okay,
here.
you're still keeping that street level of the character and his world and his universe, but you acknowledging, okay, well, this is what happened. This did happen. We're
Hmm.
not just going to say, oh, well, pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, it happened. And
Yeah.
this is part of the fallout,
Yeah. Yeah.
so.
So, and one of the theories has always been that because of the ending of Far From Home, you'd have Charlie Cox coming in as Daredevil or as Matt Murdock to represent Peter in court. Um, so you have that aspect of it, but also because, like you said, this is coming after Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is dealing with the multiverse, and Scarlet Witch is going to be in that. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
thinking it'll probably end on like a cliffhanger where Wanda screws something up, and kind of like opens the floodgates to the multiverse, and Doctor Strange has now got to go and like put the pieces back in put everything back in order. And like the first step of that is Spider-Man.
my guess is this, that when this is all shaken out and everything is said and done, we're going to get the vision back
Yes.
and nobody's going to remember that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way I honestly think that that's where they're going with this multiverse thing, and with introducing all these various Spider-Men, and
Hmm.
they're bringing back Alfred Molina as Doctor
Yes. I saw that too. I saw this week. Yeah.
Electro. They're bringing. So yeah, my thing is that yeah, they're going to say, okay, well, we're just going to say, because as you and I, as longtime comic book readers, know, magic fixes everything.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Magic fixes everything. So that's
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking they're going to do, and they're going to tinker around with a few things, and then from then on, that's going to be the MCU.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So today we're watching Avengers. We are watching it and live as we're speaking to you guys. I mean, you're not watching this live, but we are watching it live. So we both watched it on our own, and now we've got it queued up. We're gonna have it playing on in the background on our screens. We got the audio muted, so you won't hear anything, and we're gonna do a live commentary of it as we watch. So feel free to watch along with us. So queue up your Disney Plus or your Amazon or your iTunes or your Blu-ray or whatever have you, and we're about to hit play, right?
Whenever you are, you want to give them a minute or two to dig out their Blu-rays, or the hell with them.
Well, you know what? They can always hit pause. So hit pause and get it queued up because we're about to hit play right now. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1, and play. And we got the spinning Marvel logo. Now here we go. The Tesseract, the opening shot of the Tesseract. And
Yep.
it's so weird when I think about this because this was Oh, the Paramount,
the
the
Paramount
Paramount
logo.
logo. Yeah, I forgot that Paramount was like partly distributed this.
Yeah, they were the distributors.
And it's so weird. Like, I did not expect them to combine the Tesseract with the cosmic, the mind or the Space Stone with the the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, because that's basically what the Tesseract is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a cosmic cube, you
That's
know.
well, yeah, because it was introduced with the Red Skull. That was kind of what it was intended to be. And then you got the staff with the Mind Stone in it,
Yeah,
which
there it
again I
goes.
didn't really know. And they got the Chitauri, which one of the things that kind of bugs me about this movie, or not this movie, but like everybody's reaction to it, is they say, "Oh, it's an adaptation of the Ultimates because they use the Chitauri." But the Chitauri in this movie, they're really nothing like they were in the Ultimates.
Nah, and we never really get to know them. I mean,
Yeah,
they're your generic disposable bad guys. The
right.
only the only purpose that Chitauri serves in this movie is to have somebody for the Avengers to fight at the end of the
Exactly.
movie.
Yeah.
Really, that's all. Because the movie is about getting the Avengers
Now
together.
here's another what do you call it? Easter egg, right? Project Pegasus from the comic
Project
books,
Pegasus, yeah.
where the Squadron Supreme were based, and also it was the Quasar work there, right?
Quasar worked there. I
Yeah.
remember way back, there was a whole 2-in-1. That's when the
Mhm.
thing was in the book. It was a whole Project Pegasus saga.
Mhm.
And Quasar guest starred and a whole bunch of other people guest starred because Project Pegasus was devoted to the study of alternative energy sources.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so it makes sense that they would take the Tesseract in. It's a nice little Easter egg, as you said. For those of us that know, because I watched it, I said, yep, Project
Yeah.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Okay, where else would they take it? Cool.
And we got Coulson, just as cool and as laid back as ever. He's just talking about all this crazy stuff, right? And they're like, just evacuate, and he's just talking about it like he's ordering lunch, right?
Yeah, but that's one thing I love about these characters. We got Nick Fury, we got Maria Hill, and we got Coulson. And they act the way I like to see professionals act.
Yeah, yeah.
They're very calm, they're not, they're not losing. Like you said, they talk like they're ordering lunch. They have the fate of the world in their hand every day. This is nothing new for them.
Yeah. And we got Kobe Smulders. Kids, did I ever tell you about the time Aunt Robin was an agent for S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I love these sets.
These sets are amazing. It's still, it's still kind of seems unbelievable. They got a guy like Stellan Skarsgård in this movie.
Yeah. So, this guy is like, you think of him, it's like Max von Sydow.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the closest thing we got to Max von Sydow now.
Well, yeah. he also played the same role that Max von Sydow made famous, right? He played the younger version of in The Exorcist.
Yeah, he did. He played the young Father Merrin.
Although, funny enough, he was actually older than Max von Sydow was at the time that he played Father Merrin.
But once again, and I know we always go back to this, folks, and I'm going to keep on harping on this, so you might as well get used to it. It's the casting in these movies.
Yeah, yeah.
That
another good
can't.
Example right here, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Like he's very subdued in this movie. He doesn't get a lot to do, but a lot of people, they didn't like him in this movie, but I think he's got these brief little moments, and they kind of hint at what we'll see more of him going forward.
But if you notice, here's the scene. I love this scene. He's the guy that figures this out because because all these scientists, and he says, well, nothing's happening from this side. And Fury said, well, what do you mean this side? He said, well, it's a doorway, right?
Yeah.
He said, well, doors open both ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's the guy that figures it out. Not all these highfalutin scientists, not Nick Fury. It's Hawkeye.
Well, it's what he said too before. I see better from a distance.
Right, because he's sitting up, up in his perch or whatever like that, and he can see everything. It's a metaphor for him seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
Him sitting up and seeing everything.
And that's been like that's been kind of his role throughout all these movies. Like that was his role in Age of Ultron. Like he's the first one who saw that there was potential in Wanda and Pietro. He's like, look, they just need someone to beat the shit out of them and show them what's what.
Well, you know what, and also that goes right in hand with him being a sharpshooter.
Yes,
he can see things before other people can.
Yeah.
Oh,
we got the man. We got Loki now.
And one thing I love about this movie is that, just like in the comic books, it's Loki that's responsible for bringing the Avengers together.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's always been a pain in Loki's ass that he was the one responsible for the Avengers.
I just love how, again, the professional, the Fury's just like, sir, please put down the spear.
Yeah, he's very nice. He's very, sir. He says,
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
please put it down. Now, I know a lot of people have problems with this scene. They say, oh, well, Loki's not a fighter. Well, of course he is. He's an Asgardian. He
Yeah.
knows, he's been in wars. He knows how to fight. It's just that that's not his preferred method.
Right. Loki chooses not to fight. It's not that he can't fight.
Exactly. But I know people.
Well, he's thrown down with Thor many times in the comics. Like they've gone at it in the comics many times. It's not like he never fights. He's not like the Joker, who is a shitty fighter.
Yeah, Loki's not afraid to go toe to toe.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's done it. It's just that's not his preferred method.
Right. Yeah.
Of fighting. But yeah, I know people that say, "Oh, that's out of character." Well, no, it's not. If you've read the comics, you know, no, it's not out of character. And especially not for the Loki we get in this movie, who's a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is after the events of Thor where he got thrown off of the Rainbow Bridge.
Right.
So he's a little bit, you know, you can see that he's got like the dark bags up under his eyes and everything like that. Yeah. So this is Loki is a little bit more pissed off than what we've seen before.
You know, when I was watching this, I was wondering, because he's using the Mind Stone all over the place. I was wondering if maybe Thanos is exerting some influence over him with the Mind Stone, which kind of explains why he's so much harder in this movie and so much more ruthless than he's been in the movies following it.
But it also explains why Thanos would give him such a powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not be afraid that he would like turn it on him everything or go off on his own.
Yeah.
That by giving it to him, Thanos himself is also exerting some measure of control over him to make sure he's going to do what he wants done.
Mm-hmm. I also and we were talking in the past about villains where you can kind of understand where they got a point, and Loki has kind of got a point about humanity and freedom being like this great big lie, and that humans crave subjugation. He's actually got a point about that. I like rewatching this. I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah, Loki. But you know what? Loki's always had a point because who doesn't feel like a rejected child at times? And really, that's what Loki is. He's a rejected child.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was rejected by Laufey, and then he was overshadowed by Thor. So yeah, he's got a big chip on his shoulder because of that.
Yeah, because he's always and then of course now he grows up and he finds out, well, I'm really not an Asgardian. I'm a frost giant, which really isn't such a bad thing because, well, you could go be king of the frost giants, but he doesn't see it that way, poor guy. So I mean, but you know what? I get Loki. I get Loki. Which is why I guess I like him so much as a villain because who does, like I said, who does it at some time in their life have felt rejected? And that's what he is. He's a rejected child.
Loki never did much for me in the comics, but I do love him in the movies.
In the comics, he pretty much was just an asshole. He was just pissed off for no good reason.
Yeah.
But again, here in the movie, they give him motivation.
Yes, yeah.
To be the way he is, which is why, and like I've always said, I've said this numerous times, and I'll keep on saying it. Give me a villain with a motivation that I can understand, and I'm with you. We talked about Killmonger, one of the best villains that they created in the MCU. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the guy, you know what? At the end of the day, if you're being honest with yourself, you sit down and you say, you know what? The guy's got a point. I may not like what he does, but I understand why he's doing it.
Now, I like that they show Hill getting in some of the action here, because otherwise it would have given the perception that she's kind of like Fury's secretary. But here, she's like, she's driving the car, she's spinning out in front of him and shooting through the glass.
Yeah.
I like they gave her those little bits of action to do here.
Maria Hill deserves her own movie, I think.
Oh yeah.
I really would love to see her and the Black Widow and the Scarlet Witch. Put the three of them in a movie together.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Send them off on a mission. Yeah.
And there goes Project Pegasus.
Here it goes, kablooey. But everybody, Fury got away, Coulson got away, Loki got away with the Tesseract. See, this is what I'm talking about when okay, whenever people ask me why I love these movies so much, I say, you know something? Okay, there's the characters, there's the story, but it's also the spectacle.
Yes, yeah.
You know, this is spectacle. This is stuff that when I was reading comic books, I said, well, I'm never going to see this on the big screen, and now I am. I'm seeing it on the big screen. Well,
And this
not
is
right now,
this
but
is kind of a great payoff. That moment when Coulson's in the helicopter and he's looking surprised. That's the first time we've ever really seen that kind of look from him. Like even when
yeah,
he was facing down the destroyer, he's very calm and he's like, right, the destroyer appears, everyone else is shocked. It's like, is that one of Stark's? Like, and Coulson's just very calm. He's like, I don't know, the guy never tells me anything. And then when the destroyer starts powering up, Coulson's just like, okay, here we go.
yeah,
here
we go.
Here, he looks surprised. He looks like the shit. He's scared shitless in this.
Well, for the first time, this is something that they've really never been up against. Even Fury, because at this point, Fury says, well, you know what? At this moment, we're at war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if Fury's the type of guy that, okay, Hill and Coulson, they look to him. They don't get worried until they see he's worried.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they say, okay, well, Nick Fury's worried. I'm scared shitless.
And I like that when, you know, Fury says, right now we're at war, and Coulson takes that moment. Then he's like, okay, what do we do now? And he composes himself, and he's right back into business mode.
Which makes him one of the best right-hand man.
Yes, yeah.
You know, because, okay, well, what do you need from me, boss?
Yeah.
You know, what do you need me to do? You know, he's right there. Which is no secret. You know what? You understand why when Nick Fury, when he went off on his walkabout or whatever, he put Coulson in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, yeah. Now we got the Black Widow.
One of the best scenes in the movie.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And, you know, I wasn't expecting, because after Iron Man 2, I wasn't expecting them to use her Russian background at all. So I really liked that they worked that in here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, by all rights, we should have had about 3 or 4 Black Widow movies by now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Really?
Fuck Ike Perlmutter. He was the one who stopped that from happening.
You know, and whenever people always talk about, oh, well, James Bond should be a woman. I said, no, shouldn't. We've got the Black Widow.
Yeah, you don't need Black Widow could kick James Bond's ass. You don't need a female James Bond when you got the Black Widow.
Yeah, you got the Black Widow, you know. And now we've got a movie coming out that's still delayed.
Yes.
You know, but really, I mean, Scarlett Johansson, well, you know what? I'm sure she got paid a shitload of money to do all movies. But really, actually, she should have had a Black Widow movie right after Iron Man 2.
She should have, yeah. Or at least after Iron Man 3. Right, but she should have had something before Avengers 2.
Yeah, we should have had by now we should be on our 3rd or 4th Black Widow movie.
Oh, really. Definitely. Oh, I love this part. They're just calling
phone call. Yeah.
It's for her.
It's for her. And the guy gives it to you. You say, well, go ahead, give it to her. You know, I mean, what else are they going to do?
And Coulson, right? He's like, we have an F-22 exactly 8 miles out. Put the woman on the phone or I'll blow up the whole block.
Yeah. He said, I'll blow up the block before you get to the lobby. And like I said, these are professionals. If you know, Coulson talks very calmly. Yeah.
I'm in the middle of an interrogation. He's giving me everything.
He says, I'm working. What are you doing? I'm working. You know, and this is what I love about this. She's the one in control, not them.
Yeah.
You know, that's her whole attitude. Oh, I'm conducting this interrogation. Here
we go.
And
oh, yeah.
Let the ass kicking commence.
Boom. Oh, I felt that. And Coulson he knows what's going on. He's just waiting.
He said, okay. This will take about a minute.
Yeah.
She won't be long.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Damn. And the leg thing. Oh, man. I love when she does that.
That seems to be the signature move now for all females in action movies.
Yeah, she really kind of started it. Yeah.
Yeah, she started it, but after she did it, now you see it like I saw it. What was that movie with Charlize Theron? I think.
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde, yeah, you know, and just about every action movie I see now with a female. I was watching Peppermint last night with what's her name? the girl from Alias,
Oh,
Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, she did that.
Oh, okay.
I
So
said,
she's back in. She's doing action again then.
yeah. This was an action movie. Patricia and I were watching it last night. It was pretty good. It was not.
Okay.
It was an updated 70s action movie.
Oh, okay.
This is a movie that you would have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or Bruce Willis in back in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh, right. I got you. And here we go.
Where the family is wiped out by drug dealers,
Mhm.
and the sole survivor, they go on a roaring road of rampaging revenge. Except in this case, it's a woman, not a man. Yeah.
And here we go. We're at the new Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo.
And Mark Ruffalo, for those of you listening and watching this, hopefully it's a whole lot of you, pay close attention to Mark Ruffalo's performance in this movie, because as we said before, we were doing the Hulk. There's a lot of things that he does in here to provide continuity, but with the two previous actors that have played Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And you can see it, the little things he does, the little things he says, his body language, you can see that this is the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he says, well, I'm going to put my totally different spin, on this character.
And like he's just, I kind of see the hints of the blossoming romance between them in Age of Ultron. Rewatching this, I kind of see those hints here and there.
And it's, if you had told me before watching this that, the Black Widow and Bruce Banner are going to fall in love, I said, get out of here. But these two actors are good enough that they sell that.
Right.
We see the mutual respect right from the beginning. Even though she kind of lies to him because she says, "Oh yeah, well I came alone." Well, no, of course she didn't come alone. She didn't come.
Now I like this too when she says that he says, how did Shield find me? She says, "We never lost you."
Yeah,
I like that, and it's just like we kept some other people off your trail, and we kept our distance, and Nick Fury seems to trust you.
Of course, because they're Shield.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury would not have no way of knowing where the Hulk is just in case he needed it, like he does now.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to keep track of him. One thing that we're going to see as we continue all throughout this movie, which is what I love so much about this movie, is that for an action movie, it's not afraid of slowing down and having moments like this where it's just characters talking.
Right.
We're going to see that in the great scene coming up a little later on, where Loki and Thor, they have a conversation.
Yeah.
We had the one with Tony Stark, and he's talking to Pepper.
Also with him and Banner when they're talking too.
And him and Banner, right? There's these moments where the director is not afraid to slow down the action and say, okay, let's let these characters be characters.
I love this part here. He freaks out. She thinks he's about to change. Like, oh, I'm sorry. That was me.
And he did that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
He was just testing her. He said, I just want to see what you were going to do.
Yeah. The other guy doesn't make a mess. And look at her. Like, I love her. You can tell that this is the only thing that really scares her is the Hulk.
You should.
Yeah.
But this is the foreshadowing to a later scene that we're going to see. The one
exactly.
That's on the Hulk carrier. Yeah.
And Powers Booth.
Now, who's that next to him? Is that Helen Mirren?
I don't think so, but it could. I don't think it is. I never heard about Helen Mirren being in this movie.
I know that woman next to him. She's a British actress.
Yeah. I know I've seen her before.
Yeah, Powers Booth. I caught the voice. But every time I watch this movie, I always say, "Oh, I gotta watch the credits to see the woman that's on the woman next to him." Yeah. I don't
think they're credited. Like, I don't think Powers Booth was credited in this.
No, they're not. Because I looked. I tried to.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to check IMDb and see what the uncredited people are.
Yeah.
Now this, this kind of plays with the continuity because Iron Man 2 established that, and Incredible Hulk, they both established that the Avengers initiative was being set up. Thunderbolt Ross was supposed to be involved. they wanted Stark as an advisor, but they didn't want him as Iron Man in it. So they kind of like throw all that out because Whedon didn't like that setup and he wanted to go with his own thing.
Right.
So it's kind of like a nice little way they find to do that. And it also works because it gets the Avengers out from under S.H.I.E.L.D. right from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the transitions here, right? He says, she says, war isn't won by sentiment. He says, no, it's won by soldiers. And then they cut to Captain America.
Then they cut to Captain America, who is, of course, the ultimate soldier. He's the super soldier. So, hey, you want to fight a war, who do you get?
Yeah.
You get the super soldier.
And, right out of the ice in this movie. He's just woken up, as we saw at the end of First Avenger when we talked about that, almost a year ago now.
Yeah. Wow. I love this boxing scene.
Yeah. Knocks up. And he knows it's going to happen, right? Because he goes and he's got a whole line of bags waiting.
He's going to turn. Here we go. And he's got a whole row of bags. He's knock the pieces. Oh, man. And, of course, I should point out for you ladies that are watching and listening, yes, I am impressed with his musculature.
Oh, yeah. Chris Evans, man, he definitely jacked up for this role.
This cat, yeah, he pumped up for this movie. Because I was watching Fantastic Four not too long ago, just as a comparison. And, he was pretty built, but nothing like he is here.
No, nothing like this. Which kind of, it did kind of surprise me when, we saw him as Cap. I'm like, because I thought, well, he's a toned guy, but he's not like Captain America buff. And then you see him in First Avenger when the chamber opens up and you see him after he's gotten the treatment. It's like, holy crap.
Bingo.
Even what's it? Haley Atwell was surprised when she like reaches out to touch him.
In a very nice way, she was surprised. She said, I didn't know it was going to work that good. But I like the fact that he's built, but he's not. And I know people talk about, well, Captain America, he should be real jacked. He should be. I said, no, he's not, because his super strength does not depend on his musculature. It's the super soldier serum and the Vitaray treatment. That's where the super strength comes from.
Yeah. You don't need these guys to be impossibly jacked. Like I never understood that. No. It makes sense for the Hulk, right? The Hulk, Juggernaut, yeah, sure. But everyone else, they can have him as human proportions.
Yeah. It's like when, because I know people were complaining about, what's her name, Gal Gadot.
Oh,
said, yeah. She's too skinny to play Wonder Woman. I said, if you go back and you look at Linda Carter, you see that she's not much more bigger than her.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one, right? Another good example of the transition when he says you should have left it in the ocean. And they cut to Tony in the ocean.
In the ocean.
Which was the last place we saw Howard Stark.
I swear this looks like a comic book panel.
Yeah.
I could swear I've seen that in a comic book somewhere. But yeah, because Steve had just said when, Fury asked him, well, is there anything else you should tell us about the Tesseract? He said, yeah, you should have left it in the ocean. And bam, like you said, we cut to the ocean.
Here you go, Stark Tower. And I just love the interaction between him and Gwyneth Paltrow, like we talked about in our last episode. Like it's another example of just perfect casting, like getting those two together. And I love, his cockiness, right? He's like, it's like Christmas, but more me. And this is actually, it's kind of funny when you think about it, because this is the first time we've seen Tony in New York, because in the Iron Man movies, he was out on the West Coast.
Yeah. He's based in Malibu, California.
Yeah. He did, which we didn't talk about, but his house in that movie, man. When I was rewatching Iron Man, I'm like, man, I want his house.
Tell me about it.
Now, I love this too, because in the first two movies, like it's this whole rig, but here it's just like it's all mobile. So he's walking and just very casually, and then the armor's being taken off piece by piece. I love that.
And visually, it's more dynamic, more energetic than just seeing him just take it off.
Exactly, yeah.
Like he's talking and he's getting information, and the story is moving, and he's also moving.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I tell people about film when they say, oh, well, how come they did it this way? How did it come they did? Because it's film. Film is visual.
Yeah.
Show things happening. And so you get to see, the armor being deconstructed. And of course, it gives us a chance to say, wow, this Tony Stark guy is really smart.
Yeah. Also, I love this banter between them, right? Give yourself some credit. Give yourself 12%.
And again, this is another moment where the characters are allowed to be characters. The action is slowing down a bit. We're just having two people talking. That's all it is.
Something else too about this scene is that, Pepper is one of the only people who can call Tony on his shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's Pepper and it's Rhodey. They're like the only people who can call Tony on his shit. And he'll listen. I love that the life model decoy crack too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Phil. His first name is Agent.
I know. And Tony said, wait a minute, how do you know his first? It's how do you know his first? Since when you guys got to be on such good terms that you know his first?
I like they brought back his whole, I don't like to be handed things.
Yeah.
Which,
but he takes it from her.
From her. And also in Iron Man, when Rhodey presents him with the award, right? He accepts it from Rhodey.
Yeah.
So it's like those are the only people he trusts enough to accept things being handed from. That I did know. I love how her and Coulson have developed a friendship between the scenes.
Yeah, they're buddy.
Yeah.
And know what? It's something that we didn't have to see. Again, they're good enough actors that we get the implication that, during the whole thing, because she said that she knows about the Avengers initiative.
Yeah.
She said, which I'm not supposed to know about, but
Also, I love his petty jealousy. He's like, why is he Phil?
Yeah. Phil.
You have homework. You have a lot of homework.
A lot of homework.
Yeah, and I like that they brought in back the because those on those screens, those are scenes from the last movies.
Yeah,
and we even got Incredible Hulk in there. So that's another small thing that shows that it is part of the MCU.
Yeah, the Hulk was somewhere there on the right hand.
Right.
Well, on my screen, he was on like the right hand side. But yeah, it's all these little callbacks and everything like that that we get to see. And there's the Tesseract.
Yeah. Oh, and here, I want to see about the cellist, right? And she moved back to Portland. Like, I like that they set that up and show that, Coulson's got a personal life.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another great scene when Coulson and Cap are meeting.
Yeah. Again, another scene, two characters just interacting, just talking. The movie actually takes the time to set up a lot of relationships and have people get to know each other.
Yeah.
In this movie, which is one where, okay, I dig the spectacle, I dig the fight scenes and everything like that. But what really turns me on, like I said, is that the characters have time to talk and get to know each other and, be characters.
I love that too. Like, Steve not getting any of the references. And also, Coulson, like, just turning into like a fanboy. It's such it's so much fun seeing him in this way where he's so like tripping over himself, and it shows what a great actor Clark Gregg is, because he does this and it's so seamless, like the way he switches between these different modes, and it all just feels completely natural.
We've never seen Coulson like totally geek out before.
Yeah.
He's always been so in control and so reserved and so calm. But now it's like, oh, you're Captain America. Yeah. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. I love you. Will you be my best friend? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. It's like, it's another side to the character. And like I said, the movie is not afraid to let us see that.
And a lot of that is due to Whedon's writing. Like he really helped round off Coulson and make him like a more fully developed character in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the cellist thing, it was nice. I was glad they picked that up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they had Amy Acker play that character.
Yeah. Oh, we got Loki getting ready to go into his trance.
Oh, and speaking of Whedonverse alumni, we've got the other who, do you know who plays him?
Who?
Alexis Denisof.
Oh, that's right. From Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, an angel. Yeah, Wesley.
Wesley.
And and that's another example of a guy who's such a good actor because you know what, his voice is like just off the hook in this, and his like movements. Right, I did not know that was Alexis Denisof until afterwards. I saw articles about
He's an alien that truly does move and act
it.
and speak like an alien.
You know, Denisof is another one of those actors, just really underrated. Like he was, I didn't really like him too much on Buffy, but when he came on Angel and they did so much with his character, and he changes so much, but you just buy it. It makes total sense.
Yeah, I liked him more on Angel too. Well, you know what? And I know some people out there is going to hate me for this, everything like that. But over the years, I've come to believe, and I think that you have this opinion. You've always had this opinion. Angel is a better show than Buffy.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? I rewatched both series like a couple of years back, and I said, you know something? I think I like Angel more than Buffy.
Well, Angel is pretty strong consistently throughout. Like it's only the 4th season that's kind of lackluster, but otherwise, you know, it's pretty consistent. And it also ended on a great note. Like that 5th season was amazing. It was the best season of the show. Not many shows can say that their last season was the best season.
Was the best one, exactly. Yeah. More often, it's a case of, okay, well, can we finally just get this over with already?
Yeah, like Dexter.
But no, it was like they was like getting really ramped up, you know. And wow, yeah. But yeah, I say, yeah, I like Angel better.
Oh, I like this too. How you see, like Loki is afraid of Thanos.
With good reason.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like we were talking about with New Mutants, now they made it obvious that she wasn't working for Professor X. They find a way to do it. Like, you know, Loki is working for someone, but, you know, watching this movie, you would not necessarily know it was Thanos.
No. Not unless, you know, you were, you know, people like you and I who are familiar with what's going on. Because I said, yeah, well, that's Thanos. I like how they always have them shots of those staircase, that floating staircase going. And it just seems like just when it's about ready to get to the top, it cuts to something else.
Yeah. Well, also, like I was spoiled because someone spoiled it because I had to wait before I could see this movie right away, and someone spoiled on the internet, you know, fuckers spoiled the Thanos reveal. So I knew it was Thanos going in. Yeah, but you know what? I did see the some other people like, you know, I think Van Plexco was actually surprised when it was Thanos at the end.
It's not hard to surprise, man. That guy, it's not hard to surprise.
And I like this. They established, you know, the trust and the relationship between Banner and Cap right from the start, right? You know, Banner's like, is that the only word about me? And Cap's like, it's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
Now this was a huge nerd moment for me. I'm like, when I saw this happen, I'm like, oh my God, are they actually going to do it? Because I did not expect to see the helicarrier.
I stood up and cheered when I said, when they first landed on it and I saw, you know, they landed right on the SHIELD logo. I said, oh my God, that couldn't be the helicarrier, could it? And sure enough, bam, it is.
Yeah. We're a big step up from the helicarrier in Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this.
Fury, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they had more money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. S.H.I.E.L.D. got a bigger budget. I mean, this is more like.
I mean, it's just watching this. Like, even I've seen this movie. I don't even know how many times. Like, this scene is just still so amazing.
Oh man, are you kidding me? It's awe-inspiring to see something like that you've read in comics for so many years, and you said there's no way they're ever going to put that on screen. Yes, look at this.
Yeah.
See, this is more like the Bridge of the Starship Enterprise or Battlestar Galactica than the one we saw in the David Hasselhoff movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually, though, looked a lot more realistic.
Well, it made sense because, like we talked about in that movie, because, you know, we're talking about a shield that's been kind of like, you know, a relic of the Cold War at that point. So it's kind of like, you know, broken down, you know, so like it did kind of work for the feel that movie was going for.
But of course, for a movie on this scale, this works just as well.
Right, because S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't on its last legs here in this movie like it was in that one. It's a very different type of S.H.I.E.L.D. we're looking at here.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I love that the retro-reflective panels, so they can basically be invisible. I love this part, yeah. Where before,
Oh yeah, I
he's like $10 says you're wrong. He
Captain doesn't say a
doesn't
word.
say a word. He just takes out the money and hands it off to him.
Okay, you got this one, bro. He puts his hands in the pocket and keep walking.
And like even Hill, like she's looking at Steve and she's like, "Holy shit, this is Captain America."
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, Banner's still like very suspicious here, but they're still just kind of and again, like Steve just looks totally shocked. He's like, "What the hell is going on here?"
What is this stuff? But going back to Banner, one thing about him that I think you can see plainly, he's more intrigued, I think, than anything else.
Yeah.
He fully expects that Nick Fury isn't going to keep his word when he said, "Okay, when this is over, you in the win." He doesn't really think that, I don't believe.
Yeah.
But he's willing to play along for a while just to see what's going on because he's intrigued,
Also, I like they didn't give him the purple pants, but they gave him a purple shirt instead.
Purple shirt, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Back to Selvig. And I love how they're mind controlled, but they're still like having these conversations.
And apparently they have a good time while they're being mind controlled. They're not like walking around like zombies, like, "Yes, master." No, they're cracking jokes and they're making plans and everything like that. So
and like he sees Loki, he's like, "Hey," he's like as if they're buddies.
Yeah, I mean, apparently being mind controlled by Loki is not such a bad thing.
Well, it's almost like I get like kind of a cult mentality from Selvig at least.
Yeah,
right. It's kind of like he's in a cult.
Yeah,
and it makes more sense that way than like the zombie type of brainwashing, because you need the guy to still be able to do his shit.
Well, and also because you got the hint from.
Oh, I love this. The trading cards. It's a vintage set. He's just.
Yeah, he's still going on about the training, and Captain America's looking around and saying, "Oh my God."
He's just like, you can tell like Steve's really uncomfortable being here, but he wants to be polite.
Yeah, like he really feels out of his element now. You
now
can tell by the body language, he's like kind of stiff and everything like that.
And we had there's the MCU's version of Jasper Sitwell too.
Yep, there we go.
This and in the Iron Man movies, in the movies up until this one, Coulson was basically very much Jasper Sitwell. But in this, I think this movie is really where they establish his own personality.
I can agree with that. Yes, I can. I'll go along with that. Because because you know what? As a matter of fact, pretty much this is when I started thinking of him. Okay, well that's Phil Coulson. He's his own guy.
Yeah.
He's not just he's just not a clone of Jasper Sitwell.
But they give Cap's uniform its own special case in the armory.
What was I going to say a minute ago? Yeah, I was just going to say with Professor Selvig, we saw in Thor that he does have an affinity for the Norse gods and everything like that, because he had a book and he was explaining to Natalie Portman and everything like that about the Norse legends and everything like that.
Well, because he grew up with them. That was his thing.
Right.
Yeah. Like there was the stories that I grew up with.
That's part of his culture and heritage. So it kind of makes sense that he would be very susceptible to mind control, by Loki anyway, because he's so familiar with him. Hawkeye, I don't know. Maybe it's some underlying resentment he has with S.H.I.E.L.D. that allowed him to be taken over so quickly, because he didn't put up any fight at all. Loki touched him. He said, "Boom. Okay, I'm down. Let's go."
Now here's Loki again getting his hands dirty. And I love just like him walking around in the suit with the green scarf.
That's a bad suit.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's a badass suit.
And he's just swinging it like it's the ultimate badass walking stick.
Mm-hmm. Whoops.
Oh, and it's just like, he's got this smile on his face as everybody's freaking out and running away.
I like his hair in this movie.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I like his hair. It gives it's almost like Raven's wings.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I never even considered that.
Which makes me think of Odin.
Right.
Who had the two ravens on his shoulder. So when I see them, it's kind of like, I wonder if that was deliberate or am I just reading too much into it? Probably me reading too much into it. But that was the thought I had, that it's almost like the effect he's got two ravens sitting on his shoulders with that effect with the hair.
Yeah.
If there is any if there are any hairdressers out there that listen to this, let me know. DerekFerguson@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know if you worked on if you worked on Hiddleston's hair, let us know if that was the intent.
Yeah. This is one of the signature moments in the entire MCU that's coming up right now.
Yes.
With that one old guy.
Yes. Yeah. And again, he's making some accurate critiques about humanity here, right? Is this you crave subjugation, and you in the end you always kneel.
Well, listen, we spent a good portion of human civilization trying to subjugate each other, so you can't say he's not wrong.
And we still are. Like,
yeah, we just do it through electronic means now with the internet.
And and there are some people who are very happy with that. I mean, look at the last 4 years. I've never seen people so excited to be ruled by a fascist.
Oh, here he goes.
Yes.
And this guy's been in a ton of movies and stuff like that. I was glad to see he got this.
Oh, okay. I knew he looked familiar. There are always men like you.
Oh, I love it when Logan said, "Oh, there's no men like me." He said, "Yeah, there's always men like you." Oh, but something. There's one thing. If there's one thing I've learned about people, my friend, is that there's a shitload of people on this planet that are very comfortable with letting other people do their thinking for them. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't want to think for themselves. They really don't.
Yeah. I love that too. He just comes in, he blocks the blast, and he's just very calm about it, right? Yeah. He's like, last time I was in Germany,
it was another guy.
Yeah. Now, if there's one criticism I have here of this movie, it's I do not like Cap's suit in this movie.
No, I do not.
Like, it's too spandexy.
It's too comic booky.
Yeah. And that's why I'm glad they kind of made it a little bit more of a modernized version of the military uniform in Civil War and Age of Ultron.
But remember that when they were on the jet going to the helicopter, Phil Coulson said
I had some design
input into, So this is what Phil Coulson came up with.
Yeah. I also love that, Stark comes on, he takes over the PA system so he can start blasting AC/DC through it.
And there he is, Iron Man.
Mm. Make a move, Reindeer Games.
We got the big two.
I love that, just the casual introduction. Mr. Stark, Captain.
But yeah, that's what I was with you on the suit until I realized, like, the second or third time that I see it, and I picked up that line from Coulson. I said, okay, well, that's why it looks like that, because Coulson designed it. And he did it based on his image of Captain America,
Right, yeah.
But as we will see in later movies, they do rectify.
What you think, Pilates? Doing time as a capsicle. I love this. Like, Steve is obviously he's like this fucking guy.
Yeah. He's very much so.
Yeah. Oh, and this too. Like, the only two things that scare Loki, right? One is Thanos, the other is Thor.
This is my favorite line in the movie where he said, "Oh, what's the matter? You scared of thunder?" He said, "No, it's what comes after that."
Yeah.
He said, "No." He said, "That doesn't bother me." I love that line.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Here we go. Here comes Thor.
My man.
And he just grabs Loki, just takes him out.
Yeah, just snatches him up and says, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah. We go. And now there's that guy.
Don't waste time with a lot of words.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's something. Now Captain America is going to say a very interesting thing in a minute, because the Black Widow, she's going to tell him, "Listen, these are Asgardians. These guys are legend. They're practically, they're gods and everything like that." And Captain America says, "Well, there's only one God I know."
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting that they would put that line in there, and they would.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Huh? Yeah. I'm kind of, it's very interesting they would put that line in there, because you usually don't find in these types of movies where characters state their religious beliefs so concretely. But for Captain America, Yeah, it's right in with his character.
It is, yeah. I mean, he grew up, he grew up in the 30s, so it makes sense that he'd be of some Christian denomination. He's, Irish Catholic family, right? If I
It's
remember
a
correctly from
very
the comics.
it's a very interesting line that
Yeah.
they put in. And again,
There was sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say again, another scene where we have where it's two characters talking. In this case, Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
And I love the conversation that they have here.
Just to go back to the religion thing, I remember there was a meme out after this movie came out, and it had a picture of Cap, picture of Iron Man, and a picture of Hulk. And in the picture of Cap, it said, met two gods, still Christian. Under Iron Man, it said, met two gods, still an atheist. And under Hulk, it said, met two gods, smash them both.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people, I read a lot of people that really didn't like that line. They said, well, this movie now is promoting. No, it's not promoting anything.
I mean,
that's the character. That's the character talking.
Exactly. And here, I'm a card-carrying atheist, right? So, I'll be the first one to say, like, I don't see anything offensive in that line at all.
No.
It makes total sense. I mean, Cap grew up in the 30s. He grew up in New York. Poor Irish family, working class Irish family. Totally makes sense that he'd be a Christian.
Right.
And I love how, Whedon really nails the kind of like Shakespearean dialogue here without using like the thee and those and all that.
The these and the thous and
yeah.
But it's still, they speak in a larger than life manner, because these are larger than life characters, and that's an excellent point you make, because if you listen to the dialogue, this is a movie you don't have to look at it. You can just listen to the dialogue and you can tell who's talking just by the way that they talk.
Yeah.
And the words that they use and everything like that. No character in this movie sounds like another character.
Yes.
They all sound different.
I love you. Listen, Wilbur. I'm listening.
Yeah, what? I'm listening.
Another great scene. We got a throwdown between Thor and Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take my stuff. It's Shakespeare in the Park. I love Tony Stark in these movies. And I just love how he doesn't give a shit. He's facing off against a god and he still doesn't care.
He said, "Doth thou mother knowest thou wearest her drapes?"
And he calls Thor a tourist too.
Yeah, a tourist, Oh my God.
And now he's pissed.
But okay. As far as, and I love how Loki just sits down and says, "Oh, damn, I wish I had some popcorn." He's just enjoying the show. And this not only shows again that, Tony Stark, I mean, this guy built the suit that enables him to go toe-to-toe with Thor. Oh, man, here you go. That's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my boy. Boom! Have some lightning. Which inadvertently charges up his armor.
Power at 400% capacity.
Tony looks, he said, "Oh shit, 400%. Cool." Boom.
I like that they show that, even though this kind of helps establish that Thor's not really a god in that sense that we think of, but he is like, an other dimensional being, because Iron Man can go toe to toe to him.
Oh yeah. Well, they established that in Thor movies that the Asgardians really aren't gods, even though when they visited Earth they were worshipped as God, and they allowed themselves to be worshipped as gods. But no, they're actually like a humanoid race.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit tougher than humanity, but and their and it's not really magic that they use. This is some kind of advanced technology, which, as Arthur C. Clarke says, any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic.
And that's also another line that Natalie Portman quoted in Thor.
Bingo, yeah.
There we go. I love the direction of this fight scene. And then it's Cap who stops him.
Yeah, as it should be, yeah.
And everyone, they're like, "Oh, why would people take orders from Captain America?" Right? But you look at this, you understand.
Oh, yeah. This establishes right there why he's Captain America and why people listen to him. Because he's probably the only guy that could get somebody to, and they stopped for a minute,
Yeah. And he just stands there with the shield. Boom. right? And because Thor can tell this guy's not really hiding any secret power or anything like that. So when he stands up to Thor, Thor's
Mhm.
like, okay, this guy's worthy of respect.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
since he could take a hit from my hammer, and
iconic scene, the trio. There's the trio on screen for the first time, man. Oh, I love it. I lost my shit when I saw that scene.
oh, you and me both, man. Patricia was saying, "Could you please sit down? You're embarrassing me. Get off of me."
But it's like we said in we were talking about Justice League, right? This feels earned,
Right. Yeah.
whereas when it was the shot of the Trinity, it didn't feel earned.
It didn't feel earned. It felt like, okay, well, we gave them to you. You're supposed to cheer.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
that moment, yeah.
And look,
Now,
I like this. I didn't notice this before, but the Mind Stone's already starting to affect Banner.
yeah. Now, for those of you out there, and I know some people have asked me that saw the movie, and they said, well, how come Thor's hammer didn't break Captain America's shield? Well, that's because Captain America's shield is made out of a unique combination of vibranium and adamantium,
Yeah, it
which
was
gives it unique properties.
right. Yeah, it wasn't quite adamantium. It was some other metal type thing, and then later he created adamantium, trying to recreate what he used to
Right,
create
but it was
Cap's shield.
like some kind of proto
Right. Yeah.
adamantium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this cage is a reference to the Ultimates comics because they had Banner in a. This is where they imprisoned him in a cage just like this, although it was much bigger in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
There we got. I just love this. Like they're all just standing there listening to him, and I love Fury in this scene. Like you know, Jackson is just amazing in this.
He says, "And
boot." And Loki's just like, he's like, I don't have time for your tough guy shit.
Yeah, right. This shit don't impress me, because of course, as we are going to see, this is one of the oldest tropes that we see in action movies and superhero movies, where the bad guy allows himself to be captured by the good guys as part of his plan, part of his overall master plan.
Yeah.
Because even Captain America says it. To Iron Man, he says, "Yeah, this guy let himself be taken way too easy." He said, "This guy's got power." He did. Which he did. Loki just said, "Okay, you got me."
I love it too. Let me know if Real Power wants a magazine. Now, here's something I don't get, because how does Thor know about the Chitauri? Because Loki never said anything about it, and he says, they're not of any world known. And Loki says, I've seen worlds you've never heard of. So it's just like, I was wondering how he knew about the Chitauri.
Interesting. Strangely enough, I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I just assumed that the Asgardians, been hearing rumors about what Loki is doing.
Maybe, yeah. You could smell crazy on him. I love this part too. Have care how you speak. He's beyond reason, but he's of Asgard and he's my brother. And then he's like, oh, well, he's adopted.
Yeah, because Black Widow said, yeah, well, he's killed 80 people between today and yesterday. He said, oh, well, he is adopted.
I like this too. Tony offering to fly Coulson off to Portland to visit his girlfriend.
I know.
Here
comes Tony Stark with his bullshit now.
Yeah. But I love that too. Point Break.
Yeah.
Raise the top sales, and everyone's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And then the Galaga reference.
He says, how does Nick Fury see?
He turns. He's like, sounds exhausting. Downey's just chewing every bit of scenery in this.
Oh
scene.
Man, he just, and it's not many actors that could just come in and just take over a scene just like that.
Yeah.
But he does it here, and everybody just stands back and let him have it.
And he's doing it, but he's got a purpose for doing it, right? He's trying to be distracting, and with his movements and everything, they don't realize that he's planting the thing on it.
Yeah. that he tells Captain America about later on.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he's playing the fool, but he's playing the fool for a reason. You know, he's not just running around and being a jackass just to be a jackass, which he's perfectly capable of doing, mind you, but he's got a reason for it now.
Finally, someone who speaks English. Is that what just happened? Oh, I love this part too.
And apparently, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner meeting for the first time. I had said, because I was watching this yesterday, and it had struck me that Bruce Banner is always called Dr. Banner, but nobody ever calls Tony Dr. Stark.
Well, I posted a response to this in our Facebook group. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but my theory is that, Stark never actually finished his PhD programs.
Yeah.
Right? Because, to finish a PhD, like it's only like half of it is coursework. And then after that, you're doing a dissertation, you're working with an advisor, and then you got to defend your dissertation to a committee. Oh, brief aside, I love the Galaga scene.
Yeah, he goes back to playing it.
He's just got to look, he's over his shoulders like, anyone watch it? Okay, I'm going to go back to playing Galaga now.
Somebody else, I think it was Russ Anderson, I'm not sure. They responded to it, and they were of the opinion that any doctorates that Tony has is honorary.
That could be it too, yeah. Because I don't think, my theory is that, Tony wouldn't have the patience to sit through a dissertation.
Okay.
I mean, because, you think you have to have an advisor, and the way Tony, like he graduated MIT from when he was like, what, 17, they said in Iron Man? 16 or 17, something like that, yeah. So like he's got no patience for these advisors. He's already smarter than them. So he's got no patience to deal with them, and then to deal with, questions from the committee. He's got no patience for any of that. So he just go ahead and do it himself. And I love this too, when he starts poking Bruce and he's like, what's your secret? Bong and Drum's big bag of weed.
And you see, he pokes him, and then he looks at her close, like,
yeah.
Tony Stark just like fucking with people. Just, I mean, really, there's no other way you can put it.
I love this too. Like, this is where we start to see the shaking of Cap's confidence in institutions.
Yeah.
Right? Which will later be expanded on in Winter Soldier. But here, where he's like, he's like, wait, you think Fury's hiding something?
Yeah, because Tony Stark is telling him, listen, it's an intelligence agency that's afraid of intelligence. He says, what does that tell you? Yeah. And even Bruce Banner is saying, he tells him, well, listen, don't you think that this is kind of funny? And don't you think this is kind of hinky? And, So this is what I like about these characters. They're smart characters. They go into the situation with their eyes open.
Yeah.
They don't have any illusions about Nick Fury. They know that, okay, basically he's a good guy and he wants to do the right thing and he wants to save the world and everything like that. But you can never forget that he's got his own agenda.
Yeah.
And I do never forget that. There's always something up under the surface from what he's telling you, which is what Tony Stark is saying right now. He's saying, well, in a little while, I'm going to know all his secrets, even the ones he don't want me to know about.
Here we go, an intelligence George that fears intelligence, historically not awesome. And, Cap is still trying to keep the faith, right? Yeah. I like this. We have orders, we should follow them. And and at first he's just trying to write this off as, it's just Stark being Stark. And then it's Banner who's like, wait, Steve, just think about this for a second. This doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
And that's when Steve realized, so maybe Tony's not just being an asshole.
But see, that's the problem also with Tony Stark, is that he's so much of an asshole that when he is like trying to tell you something that for your own good, that people aren't listening to that because they're so used to him, it's just so used to that bullshit that he sprouts all the time,
Yeah. And
I like this cry wolf, when he actually is telling you something for your own good, you're saying, well, is this just more Tony's bullshit, or is he, really telling me something that I need to pay heed to?
I like this. We kind of established here that, Tony's got kind of a chip on his shoulder about Cap because, his whole life, Howard Stark's been talking about how awesome Captain America was.
Right. Well, he's got history with him, going back, And again, we have another scene where it's two characters
Mhm.
being characters, establishing characterization.
Mhm.
You know, like I said, this whole movie has got a whole lot. I did not really realize how many of them until I watched it last night. And I'm sitting there and I'm counting them all. I say, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of these scenes in here.
Mhm. The character work in this movie is unbelievably good.
It is. It is. You know, this, like I said, the movie is not afraid to slow down
Mhm.
and let the characters be characters.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's what, and also that really helps because this was the weakness in the X-Men movies, is that they were basically focused on like one or two characters, right? It's like Wolverine, Captain America, Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto, and
right. Yeah.
the others were just kind of background dressing. But
We
here,
never really got to know
yeah,
any, especially Cyclops,
oh
who, as
yeah,
far as I'm concerned, they did him the dirty in all of
oh
them X-Men.
definitely,
And he's like and he should have been front and center as far as
Mhm.
I'm concerned, but they did him the dirty.
Yeah,
But in this movie, like I said, all of these and they mix and they match them so that
yes,
it's not like the same two characters are talking to each other all the time. It's different characters that are talking to each other.
yeah,
And yeah, like you said, I mean, the dialogue and the characterization, you know, which is why I tell people, they say, oh, well, the Avengers is just a bunch of people, just with costumes. I said, have you ever seen the Avengers? Well, no, I haven't seen it. Sit down and watch it. Trust me, it's not just a bunch of people in costumes
yeah.
running around beating up on each other. We do get that.
We do get that, yeah.
But we also do get to know the people.
And here's another example of these great character moments and like mixing and matching characters. I mean, you've got Coulson and Thor,
Yeah.
right?
And I love the relationship they establish.
Yes. Son of Cole.
No, but you get the impression that really that they become real friends,
Mhm.
which is why I always felt that I was so disappointed that because I always got the feeling that if Thor had known that Phil Coulson was dead, he would have taken him and buried him on Asgard.
Mhm.
That's how much regard he had for him, or he would have given him or he would have brought everybody from Asgard
Mhm.
to his gravesite and paid him some kind of respect or homage or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the weakness of Agents of Shield, is that they couldn't really openly acknowledge the MCU. So we missed because it would have been really good to see like the Avengers find out what had happened to Coulson.
Yeah. That was one of the weaknesses of it, especially after Coulson is such an integral part of the
Mhm.
forming of the Avengers, as we see in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't just like standing by the sidelines. He was a part of forming this team,
Mhm.
and for them to never acknowledge him, his passing, anything like, yeah, that's a serious flaw. That but who knows? Like we were talking earlier when we were talking about like, well, maybe the Doctor Strange and the Spider-Man movie with the whole multiverse thing.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll bring him. Maybe they'll bring Coulson back.
I mean, I hope they do. I mean,
Yeah, I could think of worse. I mean, usually I got a problem with them bringing characters back from the dead, but Phil Coulson, no.
Yeah.
If they brought Phil Coulson back to the MCU on a regular basis as the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd love it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I love this interrogation scene. Again, that first scene at the beginning of the movie when we were introduced to Black Widow, it foreshadows this scene, right? It established how good she is at interrogation, is that she doesn't interrogate in a straightforward way.
No. And again, another scene with two characters talking.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting is that pretty much all the Avengers movies up until Endgame, is that when Black Widow's in another movie, she has long hair, but when she's in an Avengers movie, she has short hair. Do you notice that?
You know something? I never noticed that.
Because she's got short hair in this one, and then when we see her in Winter Soldier, she's got long hair. Age of Ultron, she goes back to the short hair, and then it's long in Civil War, and then it's short in Infinity War.
Okay.
It's just a really interesting thing I noticed.
I was watching, what was it, a couple of days ago. I happened to catch. I was switching channels, and I came in halfway through Ghost World, and I always stop and watch it. And I can't help but look at her and say, "Boy, if she only knew what is in store for her
Oh
in the
wow,
future,
yeah.
you know, yeah." Because you know what, she was a hell of an actress back then.
Oh yeah.
You know, I love that movie, Ghost World.
And it's funny because at that time, Thora Birch was like thought of as like the next big thing, and then it ends up being Scarlett Johansson.
That's you know what I said. I would give $10,000 if I could be a fly on the wall when they go out to lunch. I said, when do they ever go out to lunch and say it's like what's that guy? Tom Hanks and the guy he was in that TV series with, you know, Bosom Buddies.
Oh, I don't know. I never heard of that.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it's kind of like that with Peter Scolari,
Mm.
where Peter Scolari was the guy that everybody thought was going to blow up and be a big star, and instead it was Tom Hanks.
Oh, I love this. Like, and Scarlett Johansson does a really good job of play acting like she's terrified here.
Yeah.
And, and Tom Hiddleston's just like going off. And I love this where it's contrasting this and it's playing the audio over these scenes of these different backstabbing plots going back and forth.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on here that, I mean, as far as the healthcare area is concerned, we've got about 3 or 4 things really here all happening all at the same time.
Yeah. This is just like he's so intense right here. And then, and when I remember watching this, I'm like, what is she doing? Why is she flinching at this?
Which, as you so accurately point out, apparently Black Widow is a master at interrogation techniques.
Yeah, and then here she goes, completely dry-eyed.
Yeah. Did you find out what you're doing? Sucker. He's like, well,
he's like, wait, what just happened?
Oh, he said, wait, what?
He's like, what just happened here?
He said, wait a minute, I'm in control here.
Yeah. Oh, here's where it all comes to a head. Like this is such a great scene.
The 2 brainiacs.
Mm-hmm. Then Cap comes in. He's like, and this is where Cap fully crosses over. He's like, we shouldn't just be following orders. And he tries. What said, were you lying?
Nick Fury said, "Wait a minute, hold on."
Mm-hmm. We get another, foreshadowing of their relationship, right? You didn't come because I bat my eyelashes at you. I love this. Thor's just like, what did I do?
He's like, I'm standing here minding my business. What are you doing? What? But also, this is great. This harkens back to all of those great scenes in the comic books where the Avengers would bicker and fight amongst each other, and they weren't as bad as like the Fantastic Four, who was like every issue they were like at each other's throats, and the thing was threatening to quit every other issue or stuff.
Oh like yeah.
But in the Avengers, every once in a while you have a thing, and there'd be a course of action. They would say, "Wait a minute, I don't think we should do this," and then they would do this, and this one be fighting back and forth, and everybody had their own point of view on how they should handle the situation.
Now this is great too. I love how it doesn't cut, right? And it's just like the movement of the camera. It feels very unnerving.
Well, it gives us the impression that we're standing in the room also.
Yeah.
And we're just like swiveling around and looking at each other, and who's ever talking, we're standing there and we're just turning, to look at them.
Yeah. I mean, that camera working here, and then it, does the close up on and I love this, how it pans around like that. It's
right, because now it's letting us know visually, and see how it goes upside down. So it's turning things, it's the Mind Stone that's turning things upside down.
Right.
It's letting us know visually that that's what's happening. Doesn't have to tell us.
It's doing it's amazing direction in this movie.
Yeah. Okay, things are topsy-turvy now.
Hmm.
Now they're opposite. I said, oh, okay. And if you're paying attention, yeah, you'll get it. You don't, it always kills me when people talk about, well, they should have explained that in the movie. Why does everything have to be explained to you?
I mean, it's explained pretty well like that.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll get. And if you're familiar, if you've been watching movies, well,
Mhm.
see here where I come off like an arrogant asshole. If you've been watching movies for years, as long as I have, there's some things you can watch in a movie, and if you understand the language of film
Exactly.
and how film is used and how
Uh,
direction is done, you say, okay, I can get that without having to be told.
Now this is
Some people are lazy.
foreshadow. Now this is such a great scene because this foreshadows not only Tony's attempted sacrifice in this movie, but also how this, the Infinity Saga comes to an end, right?
Yeah.
With him sacrificing himself to stop Thanos. Right? It's amazing to think of like how far we've come since this movie.
But you know something, you made an excellent point a while back that I'd like to just jump back to. That until I watched this movie again, I did not realize how much of Tony's own relationship with his own father, how much that influenced his relationship with Captain America.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things that he does and says to Cap, he does because his father's not there for him to take it out on, really.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, and like you said, he had to grow up listening to how great this guy was,
Mhm.
and as
I,
we see, him and his father didn't have the most harmonious of relationships.
and again, the camera work here, like when that shot of Thor, where it's like kind of a low angle, but he's almost like right at the edge of the frame.
It's a visual way for us to show the psychological disorientation of the characters
Mm.
themselves as they're under the influence of the stone. The visuals that we're looking at is kind of off because they're kind of off now.
Mm. I love that they're both reaching for their guns.
Because he doesn't even realize what he's doing himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Banner, could you put the staff down, please? He didn't even know himself.
I love how they're still fighting it. He's like, you're. But I like this. I'm not afraid to hit an old man. He's like, put on the suit. Let's go a few rounds.
Uh-oh.
And I liked how they worked in how Hawkeye can do all these things, how they linked all his arrows and stuff to his bow. It makes so much sense. But
Yeah.
but it's something like nobody thought of to do in the comics.
And that's one thing that I loved about the movies because everybody always says, well, he's a guy with a bow and an arrow. Well, as this movie shows, he's a guy with a bow and an arrow, but if you know what to do with it,
yeah,
Hawkeye by his assault on the helicarrier shows that he's just as formidable in his own way as Iron Man or Thor or Captain America.
Also, I love how they're at each other's throats 1 minute, but as soon as disaster strikes, right, then
Bam.
Steve's like, put on the suit, and he's saying it in a different way.
In a completely different way, right?
Yeah.
Completely different way from what he said it before. And yet they all snap into, okay, well, let's work together and bang, bang, bang. We'll fight about this shit later on. But right now, and there he goes, my man Hawkeye. But I've always been a big Hawkeye fan.
Oh yeah, me too.
I've loved even more people say that Captain America, he's the heart and soul of the Avengers. But to me, it's always been Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought that I love the fact that here's a guy who has won a place on this team with guys that can build these highly technological suits of armor and thunder gods and super soldiers and everything like that. Here's a guy with nothing but his guts, his skill, and his will has made a place for himself on this team.
Yeah.
I've always loved that about Hawkeye, because basically he's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
He's just the best archer in the world. And still, that got him a place on the Avengers.
For me, Hawkeye and Vision have always been two of my favorite Avengers. Because, I mean, just like a lot of what you're talking about, like that heart and soul. Vision is a lot of that too.
Yeah, true. I agree.
I like this. They have that shot of Banner as he's mid transformation. He's looks scared.
Well, it's according to what the Black Widow said earlier, it's been a year since his transformation, his last
Right.
transformation.
And also, like, the whole thing here is that this is a forced transformation, right? So, like, he's still being influenced by the Mind Stone here.
Yeah. And even when they were they were in the laboratory, and as you pointed out when we did the Hulk episode, he makes a reference that let us know that this is a sequel. This takes place after the Incredible Hulk, because he said, "Well, last time I was in New York, I broke Harlem."
Right? Yeah, yeah. I love this too. He's like, we have no way to tell. He's like, is the sun coming up? He's like, put it on the left.
Yeah, stupid. Yeah, it's but also goes to show you that these people are so dependent on their technology that they can't figure out a simple thing like that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
which way is north? Well, if you put the sun on, your left, this has got to be north. Stuff like that. Like my wife will always ask me, she said, "Well, how come you never get lost?" I said, "Well, I was a Boy Scout. They taught me how to, which direction I'm going in." Yeah.
He's relying on Cap to tell him about this. I love this.
Oh yeah, yeah. All this highly technical shit. Yeah. This is a guy that barely understands how a radio works.
Yeah. Oh, and we missed we missed the flying monkey scene. Right? He says, I finally got that reference.
I finally got that reference. Yeah, we missed it.
And he pulls it out. He's like, what do you see? He's like, well, it seems to run on electricity.
Yeah, like really? Did you really think Captain America was going to know what he was looking at? Oh my God.
This is you're getting shades of Alien here. Like, this is a really good, amazing way he's directed this here.
I love this shot that's coming up.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Boom. Now, is that a money shot or is that a money shot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Thor just knocking him for a loop.
Yeah, and now comes the next big throw. I mean, we already had Thor and Iron Man. Now Thor gets to go toe to toe with the Hulk.
And you can see here, like, the way the Hulk's moving, like, he's just totally erratic. It's another visual clue that the Mind Stone is, affecting him. And I like this, that it shows that, Thor is still pretty strong even when he doesn't have the hammer.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's a tendency for people to think that, well, if he doesn't have his hammer, Thor is no good. Well, no, such is not the case. As I tell people, I say Thor's been kicking storm giants in the ass since he was a teenager.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the guy knows how to fight.
He's going all technical again. Speak English. You see that red lever?
But again, goes back to what you were saying about the characterization. We saw these guys just a few minutes ago arguing, insulting each other. So now they're working together.
Oh, I love this part. Like, Thor here, he's happy, right? He's like, oh, I got someone who can stand up to me now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you can see he knows the hammer. He knows he's waiting for some sign, and then as soon as he knows Hulk is coming, boom.
Pow! Gotcha. I mean, because when he wipes his nose and he sees that he's bleeding, he said, "Oh, good," because now this is somebody he doesn't have to hold back with.
Yeah.
Well, should never did that, son. Hulk, pick up puny hammer. Nope.
Oh man, and it's a foreshadowing to the much more epic fight we'll get in Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, hey, listen. I was sitting there when I was in the movie theater. My mouth was like, I could not believe I was watching a Thor Hulk fight
my
in
God,
live action.
And again, here, like, Hill and Fury proving why they're head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Boom.
Yeah. tearing up the hell. Boy, that's gonna come out of the budget.
Get his attention. Oh man. Oh, this is another great scene coming up here. I love the fighter jet just goes right in between like that.
Yeah. Oops. Uh-oh.
Oh, got his attention. Target angry. Target angry.
I love how the Army's code name for Hulk is Angry Man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this, he grabs the guy's chair and then swings him around for a little bit before throwing him off. There's that Tony's trusty laser. This is back when he had to still eject it out, the cartridge, after it was used.
Yeah.
They changed that in later movies. He upgraded it, so you didn't have to eject anything.
Well, he's always upgrading in every movie. Like it's a different,
And I like here, like we can't hear it, but I do like how they work in each character's theme song, right? So they've got like the Cap theme song playing here as he's going out against these guys. And it shows, like, Cap's pretty good fighter even when he doesn't have the shield.
Well, yeah,
and he's not afraid. And it shows he's a soldier, right? He's not afraid to pick up a gun if he has to.
Well, that's what I tell people all the time when they say, "Oh, well, Captain America would never kill." I said, "Well, of course he will."
Yeah, because that's the difference. Like, Cap is not Superman in that way. Like, Cap's a soldier, and he doesn't want to kill, but he will if he has to.
And that's usually the context in which I'm having this discussion. And when I compare Superman to Captain America, and people say, "Yeah, okay, but why is it okay for Captain America to kill, but it's not okay for Superman to kill?" I said, because Captain America is a soldier.
Yeah, and also Captain America is not doesn't have Superman's level of power either.
Yeah. Now, in defense of his country or to save lives or whatever, yeah, Captain America will pick up a gun. I mean, he killed in World War II. There's no doubt about it. But again, he's a totally different character. Yes, they do share some of the same values, but Captain America is coming from a more ideological, whereas Superman, than Superman.
Yeah. For Superman, it's more about, he can't solve all his problems that way because he knows how much power he has. He knows he can't go down that route.
Exactly.
It's a different story from Cap. Cap is more like the Batman line of thinking, right? It's more of a, this is a line I don't cross unless I have to.
Exactly. I always like to say to people that, yeah, he will kill, but he's not a killer.
Right.
And of course, people say, well, what's the difference?
There's a big difference, yeah.
Go away from me, all right? Or, if you don't understand what the difference is, yeah, there's a difference.
Are you ever not going to fall for that?
I love the relationship between them two.
Which, of course, it also foreshadows in Ragnarok when Thor doesn't fall for it. Right? When Loki tries it on him as they're going to the ship and then Thor expects it coming. This is another great Hawkeye and Black Widow throwing down.
Going toe to toe.
I love they find a way for him to use his bow even in close quarters like that.
Yeah, isn't there where he turns it into a staff?
That's in Civil War.
In Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, when he's facing off against Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh God, this scene.
Yeah, I know. This is the scene that I dread every time I watch this.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Oh. And that's it's because we spent all this time in the movie up until now seeing Coulson as a more fully developed character. That it just Whedon totally, and you know it's funny because Whedon said like this was not my fault. This was in the script before I came in, and I told,
Yeah.
and he's like, I told them you can't have this in the script. Everyone's gonna blame me for it again.
And the only thing that I could figure that somebody thought that the movie needed a sacrificial lamb,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't kill off anybody
Yeah.
else because, of course, they all had contracts for multiple movies.
Well,
So
also
they,
because you've got because now you've established Maria Hill as like Stark's right hand woman, or Stark as Fury's right hand woman. So
right.
Coulson, in a way, seems a bit redundant in that sense.
Well, not really, because you know what? She's like, okay, because I always saw Colson as the guy that he's out there. You
Well,
know,
yeah, yeah.
he's running around the country, he's running around the world. Uh always saw Maria Hill as the person that actually was running Shield on a day-to-day basis.
You're right, but I'm saying like that's the line of thinking. I can understand that line of thinking.
Yeah, I got you.
Where yeah, whereas instead of having two characters, you could streamline it into one.
Yeah.
I love Thor's trying. Here we go. Just boom. And it's kind of interesting because it shows that he needs some sort of like footing, some sort of leverage in order for it to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't really think he's dead.
I love when he just shoots him like that.
Boom! Good for you, Phil.
Yeah. So that's what it does.
Did one last good shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Helicarrier is stabilized thanks to Iron Man and Captain America.
Almost, because now he's got the thing where Cap's too busy to pull the lever.
Yeah, because he's now fighting off the guy, Hawkeye's strike team.
Who's probably might be Hydra guys. There he goes. Finally gets it back.
Even though he never states it explicitly, because Solvik asked him, so where'd you get these guys so fast? And he just says, well, Shield's got a lot of enemies. I always assumed they were Hydra guys.
Yeah.
That was my thing. That Hawkeye knew it was a bunch of Hydra guys, hanging out at a bar someplace, not doing nothing. And he went and got him and said, listen, you want to get back at, listen, I got a plan. We'll get back at Shield. There he goes with the handle.
Yeah. That armor has definitely seen better days.
Oh yeah, that armor is all tore up.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna take a rest now.
Yeah, it's been a long day. It has been a really long day. And Loki is free.
Here we go. Fury and Coulson's last words.
And I'm sitting in the theater the first time that I'm saying, and I'm thinking even at the last minute, Fury's gonna pull something out of his trick bag and he's gonna save him. Phil Coulson can't be dead. I mean, I'm sorry, it just ain't gonna work that way. I was convinced he was gonna pull something out of it. Stick him in a cryogenic capsule or I don't know. Or Tony Stark would come up with something. I don't know. I just knew somebody was going to come up with something to save him. I did not expect that he was going to temporarily die. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I love when in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he finds out what it was, and it was like this special procedure, and Coulson's like, "Why'd you use it on me? Like that's supposed to be done in case an Avenger falls." And then Fury's like, "Exactly."
Yeah.
This scene just tore me up, right? The cards.
Oh yeah.
And it's just,
Oh man.
and it's like Tony is just like taking this really bad, harder than anyone, really.
Well, see, that's the thing about Tony Stark, which is why I have always thought that, after the events of this movie and what happens to him in later movies, psychologically, everything hits him harder than everybody
Yeah,
else. All of that bullshit and everything that he does and everything like that, that's all defenses.
it's a suit
Because
of armor he wears around himself.
right, he's actually more psychologically vulnerable than anybody else
Yeah.
in these movies. He just hides it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes out in other ways, like we were saying in Iron Man last week, when I was saying that, one of the problems with Tony Stark is that the only way that he can think of to fix a problem is to build a bigger, better weapon.
Well,
Which
also, sorry, go ahead.
problem.
Yeah. Well, of course, something else too is that after Yinsen dies, like Tony's whole thing is like, I'm going to use this suit, I'm going to protect people, and this kind of thing is not going to happen again.
Right.
And now we've gone through 2 movies, right? He thinks he's invincible, right? And he thinks he's unstoppable, and he's not used to dealing with death.
True. No, he's not.
Not when he's able to protect, when he thinks he should have the power to stop this from happening, and he still can't stop everything. Like it's still.
He never, it's like, okay, going back to Superman. It's like Superman. Superman's come to terms with the fact he can't save everybody.
Also, I like this thing with Thor too, where he's hesitating before he picks up the hammer. He's like, wait a, and that's time. A lot of people were confused by that scene because a lot of people said like, well, wait, can he not pick up the hammer? Why is he stopped? And the thing is, it's not that he can't pick it up; it's that he's hesitating because, and this ties back to the conversation he had with Coulson when he says, we think we're advanced on Asgard, but we come down here and we rampage around, and he's wondering, he's like, you know what? I brought Loki here. Should I really be getting involved in this? Am I not making things worse?
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Oh, and we got a classic actor here.
A great cameo from Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah.
Who, when I saw in the movie theater, there was a nice little bit of applause.
Yeah.
Said, oh, wow. Yeah, everybody said, oh, I know that guy.
And this also kind of shows that there's Hulk Banner is somewhat in control of the Hulk, but he says like, it's like, well, must have been lucky. He's like, or just good aim. You were awake when you fell.
Yeah.
This too. He's like, are you from outer space? He's like, no. He's like, well, then you've got a condition.
He said, boy, if you're not an alien, then you got a condition. You talk about your understatement.
Mm-hmm. This is where we see probably the most Hawkeye in this scene. We get the clearest insight into his character, at least in this movie.
Well, didn't Jeremy Renner complain at one point that he didn't have enough to do?
I think, well, at least in the first one, yeah. I think when it came down to Age of Ultron, he was given more to do, and then, obviously Civil War and Endgame, he had a whole lot more to do.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a Hawkeye TV show too. So
because I vaguely remember reading at one point that he took the role in what was it, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, because they was thinking, this is what I read, I don't know if the rumor is true or not, but the thinking was that Tom Cruise was going to quit the series after 1 or 2 more movies, and Jeremy Renner's character was introduced so that he could take over.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that as well.
Right. And then he was also supposed to take over the other franchise, what was it?
The Bourne series.
Right. He was supposed to take that over, and that didn't work out, mainly because it was a terrible movie.
Right. And then they brought back Damon and Greengrass.
Yeah, then they brought them back. Yeah. It was a terrible, through no fault of his own. Jeremy Renner was good. It was just, I don't know what they were thinking. But then again, you can't go by me because I'm not much of a fan. As we discussed, I'm not much of a fan of the Bourne movies anyway.
No,
the first one,
yeah. Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, the first one, now I've got that on Blu-ray, but to me, and I'm cool. The other ones, you can keep those.
Yeah, agreed. I never even saw the one where Damon and Greengrass came back. I didn't even see the one that the Renner was in. I stopped after what was the last one? Ultimatum.
Yeah,
Yeah, after that I'm like, I don't really care to see the rest.
I I saw. You know what? The only reason why I went to see the one with the only reason I went to see the one with Jeremy Renner is because of Jeremy Renner. That's one reason I went to see it. Yeah, and he was good, but you know, it was for some reason. And then recently they just had a TV series, Treadstone, where
Yeah, yeah.
that was a spinoff of, you know, it was, I don't know. They keep trying to turn this whole thing into you know, the whole Bourne thing, and it's really making more out of it than I think than what the creator of it meant for it to be.
This is another great character piece between. This is where the relationship with Tony and Steve really begins, I think. Right. This is where they really come to some sort of form of mutual respect.
Yeah. I mean, these are guys that should be friends, but they're separated by so much. Their values, their age difference. Well, really not so much as the age difference, but it's just that Steve Rogers is a man from a completely different generation.
But it's interesting, though, you mentioned the age difference because, in reality, chronologically, Steve is much older than Tony, but physically, Tony is older than Steve.
Yeah, yeah. I just realized that when I'm looking at him now. Yeah. You know what? Actually, Tony is older than Steve.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because, he grew up listening to these stories his dad told about his old friend Captain America. And, it'd be weird. Like, all of a sudden, you turn around one day and your dad's best friend turns up and he's younger than you.
Yeah. It's a lot to do. Like I said, Tony has to go through. You know what? After he came back from being held prisoner by the terrorists and Iron Man and stuff like that, Pepper should have stuck him into deep therapy for at least a year.
Yeah.
That would have solved. We would have never got Ultron if she had did that. But of course, Tony's not going to admit that he needs therapy or anything like that. So, but he's got a lot of deep psychological shit.
I like this when Clint comes out and he says, "I can fly one of the jets," and then Cap looks to Natasha for confirmation, and once she nods and like basically saying like he's okay, then Cap's just like, "Okay, come on in then."
Yeah. Here we go.
Suiting up. Now I like this when he gets the when Thor gets the armor on his here we go. It shows like, yeah. Son, just don't. Here's another example. We see what a manipulative bastard Fury is. Right? Coulson didn't have those cards in his jacket. So that means Fury took those cards out of Coulson's locker, went over to his body and dipped them in his blood, and then took them over to the... Man.
Now ain't that some shit? Yeah. Yeah, because he didn't have the cards with him.
No. And Fury, there's not a lot Fury won't do to get the job done.
Apparently so. Yeah, but that, and I know that he rationalizes it in his own mind. Well, this is what Phil would have wanted. Phil would have been the first one to, but okay, maybe so, but that still don't make it right, though. That still doesn't make it right.
And look at how Tony's armor is just like falling apart here.
Oh, it's all beat to shit about this part. Which, you know what? Which I like.
I know, yeah.
I mean, because by the end of every movie, his armor should look all beat up and tore up and beat the shit and it's still working, but there's wear and tear. Oh, there he goes, Loki.
The armor coming off again.
And I like how, once again, we see how something that Tony created, the arc reactor, because that's
Mhm.
what they're using to power this thing. Again, something he created has come back to bite him in the ass.
Right. Yeah. I'm planning to threaten you. You've got the glow stick of destiny. No, threatening. He's just like, all right, let's have a drink.
Yeah, let's hang out, And again, we get another scene between two characters. Characterization is
and
further.
unlikely characters too.
Yeah, of course.
I love how he doesn't say it in some like big dramatic, like the Avengers, we're sort of like a team.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
He's like, as soon as he mentions Thor, he's like, Loki's starting to get twitchy.
Yeah, you noticed that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as much as he might like to pretend otherwise, Thor makes him nervous. That's why when he said earlier, he said, "Oh yeah, the thunder." He said, "What comes after that?"
Yeah. I have an army. We have a Hulk.
Bingo. One of the best lines in the movie. Yeah, okay. We've got a Hulk. Now, mind you, the Chitauri have been built up as this big menace and everything like that. We have not seen them all throughout the movie, which is why I said earlier before, really their only purpose is for something that on, by the end of the movie.
He keeps trying. This usually works. Performance issues. 1 out of 5.
Oops.
Oh, we were watching this. My wife and I were watching this, and she was just she's like watching this scene, and she was like marveling at this scene.
Boom. Massively cool.
Yeah, so well done.
Whoa.
And I love this new armor. It's got the rear thrusters so he can hover like that.
Yeah. Brand spanking new set of armor.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite suits in the series.
Uh-oh. Forgot the objective, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
And now we begin the big battle we've all been waiting for. The Chitauri invasion of Earth.
Army. This was just like one of the most epic battle scenes that had ever been shown when this movie came out. And it still is. Like, obviously it's been overshadowed since by Endgame, but still, like, this scene was unbelievable when this movie came out.
Wow. Look at that. And of course, New Yorkers stop us.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of those scenes that, you watch it, and I don't know, this is something that I frequently do. I look and I say, I have no idea how they filmed that.
Well, this was like what they did was they kind of created like a CGI set, CGI model of New York. And so like most of this is done like on green screen.
Well, a lot of times, you know what? Sometimes I will watch those things that they have on the Blu-ray, like, behind the scenes, the making of. Sometimes I'll watch them. Sometimes I don't, because I actually don't want to know how they did it.
Yeah,
really.
Sometimes. Like you watch I remember seeing some of the end game. They had like deleted scenes on it and stuff. And you see the deleted scenes, because obviously they don't have the effects finished, right?
Right.
So you see it, and there's like, there's this extended conversation with Tony talking to Doctor Strange. And you see him there, and there's like, Robert Downey Jr. is like wearing half the armor, and they're like all against a green background. It's like, it doesn't have quite the same effect.
Yeah, I mean, they're all standing in like a room that's all completely green.
Yeah.
And maybe like there's some rocks or something like that, but they're all wearing pajamas, and they got the motion capture thing in front of it. You know, sometimes I don't want to see that. I
Yeah.
sometimes I don't need to know how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
I'd rather just eat the sausage. Hilarious.
No, I agree. I agree totally.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm curious. I say,
Mhm.
you know, I got to know how they did that. You know, I'm not going to sleep at night. But other times, nah, I'm just content. And this is like one of the, I mean, again, I go back to spectacle and epic.
Mhm.
You know, you got Thor in his brand new spanking armor. He's up there fighting with Loki. The aliens are, the Avengers are mobilized and trying, you know, where else are you going to see this?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just fantastic. Look at
Plus,
that.
you know, just seeing the Quinjet, right? I mean, that's just like, oh man. Poor Cap in this scene. He's just like not really anything he can do. He's just like hanging on.
Not much you can, yeah, listen. Whoa.
There we go. Now he can get into action.
Well, now he's got something to do.
Yeah.
He could be Captain America now. Whoa.
Here they come.
There
Oh,
it
here comes the big guy.
is. Oh, goodness. Look at that thing.
Hmm. You know, because the Chitauri didn't really have much of a design in the comics, right? Because they were basically like a stand-in for the Skrulls. So they were mostly like shapeshifters. So like they did like all of this is like original design work for this movie, and it's just amazing work, right? And you can kind of see the Thanos influence on them when you look closely, right? Like the kind of the style of like their helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
Where's Banner? He's like, what?
And what I really like about, okay, you got this huge creature coming through there.
Mhm.
You got all these dozen aliens, everything like that. And you're saying this is the point in the movie that you're saying, are the six of them really going to stop all of this?
Mhm. Well,
At
also,
least I did. That's what I said. Are they really going to be able to stop this?
this is another hint that maybe Loki's being influenced by the Mind Stone, because he does seem to have a moment of realization here, like a moment of clarity.
Yeah, you know what? More and more I'm beginning to lean in with your theory that Thanos was control, that the Mind Stone was kind of, because in this movie we've never seen Loki be this vicious and mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen him do some pretty horrendous shit, but I mean, especially the thing with the eye,
Right. Yeah.
we've never seen Loki do anything like that since.
Yeah.
And we've never seen a Loki that's so maliciously destructive.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because Loki's whole thing is, well, I can't rule a planet if it's destroyed.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I'm going to go with you there. I like the design of the wings. It's a small thing, I know, folks. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, no, it does. Yeah.
But I like how they still have. It's not sticking out his head, but they still got.
Oh, there we go. The scene with Hawkeye choosing which arrowhead to put on which bow. I love that.
That is cool. That is so cool.
And it's like, it makes so much sense. Like, I don't know why they haven't done that in the comics yet. Like after someone watched this movie, they should have been like, all right, we gotta put that in the comics now.
Oh shit, yeah. No question.
I love because it's not just that he's an archer, right? They make his whole uniform fully functional.
Yeah. You know what? He's it's a definite kind of ninja influence to him too.
Yeah.
Which we also see when we get to Infinity War, where he
becomes Ronin.
Yeah, Ronin. Yeah. So there's like I said, he's not just an archer; he's a sharpshooter. There's a ninja influence I see in him. A definite martial arts influence.
Yeah.
So it's a whole bunch of things. So yeah, so in the movies they make him. He's not just an archer.
Now this is a great scene with Cap talking to the police officers. Right, he's giving them instructions, telling them what to do, and they're just kind of like, "Who the hell is this guy in the onesie?" And this is where Cap shows him exactly who he is.
Yeah, it said, why should we take orders from you?
Yeah.
That's why.
And the guy, not another word, he just starts repeating everything Cap told him. Also, I like they established that, Cap knows New York still. Right? Because he tells him, he's giving them directions on like what streets they should go back to and everything.
Mm-hmm. Set up the perimeter over here.
Yeah.
Pull the civilians back over here and get over. Yeah. But see, I love when Captain America just starts doing that shit. When he just starts barking at order, and he just does it like he expects people are not going to do anything else but listen to what he said.
Yeah.
I love that.
But the cool thing about Cap, and Evans does this really well, is he doesn't do it in an arrogant way.
No.
Right?
No.
He expects his orders to be followed, but he's not arrogant about it. Like if Stark was barking those orders, it'd be a totally different delivery.
Yeah, nobody would listen to him. Yeah,
And if I unfinished business with Loki, yeah, we'll get in line. And again, I like this, Cap calling the shots, just like slipping into the role of leader without a second thought. It's just natural for him.
Yeah, it's just natural for him.
And I like this, the little acknowledgement where she's like, look, it's okay,
Yeah.
And tell him to suit up. He just starts walking. It's like, you might want to start getting angry right now.
Uh-huh. Another great line.
Mm-hmm. Still doesn't really make sense, but such a great line.
Uh-huh. That's my secret. He said, listen, I'm always angry.
Yeah.
And with one punch, the Hulk changes the whole complexion of
Yeah. Poor Hawkeye, he's got nobody to protect him. He's got to hide under the car.
With one friggin' punch. Boom. And that, folks, is why
the epic roundabout shot. That's the money shot.
And again, like you were saying earlier, this is a shot that's been earned.
Yes.
Now definitely. We say, okay, that's the Avengers. It's not like that last shot in Justice League where they're on the wall and we're supposed to, no.
Well, like you said when we did that episode, it felt so posed and forced. Yeah. And then here, I like this too, where, Tony fully defers to Cap here, right? He says, call it, Captain.
Yeah. Again, characterization. It says something about that. At this moment, listen, I got to put my ego in. Oh, I love this.
Better clench up, Legolas. He's giving orders to the god even too, right? And Thor's just like, all right, let's do this.
You see what Thor got you.
Here we go. Best line. And Hulk smash. And just Hulk's got that smile on his face, like, oh, I was just waiting for you to tell me that.
So Hulk smash. I mean, such great lines of dialogue in this movie.
And when Hulk looks at him first, he's like, oh God, what are you gonna tell me to do?
Yeah. Listen, do what you do best. Smash.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is just like such an epic use of Thor in this movie.
That's why Thor's my boy.
Yeah.
I love me some Thor. They used them in this movie. You get the feeling you say to yourself, okay, I understand why people worshipped him as a god.
But you see, the thing is, still, what's so amazing is that he's weakened in this movie too, because you saw him when he lands. He's still kind of weak from when Loki stabbed him.
Yeah, he's weak when he's doing this.
And we got the Fury talking to the Shadow Council again.
But one thing that I really do enjoy is that, they establish how powerful Thor is, but not at the expense of any other characters.
I like this too. Guy doesn't even have to look when he fires the arrow.
No, he's not even looking. Yeah.
But I do love this. Like him, he's surveying the battle, right? He's calling out plays, like Cap told him.
Right. Because as he said earlier, he sees better from a distance. He can see the big picture.
And also something else interesting, like he's looking at one way and he's pointing the bow in the other, right? Because he's compensating for the change in speed, the wind direction. He's calculating all that in his mind.
He's Hawkeye. He's brilliant, and
And I
that's what I
like
love
that
about this.
and I
That's what
like
I
that
love
they
about
showed that with that gesture.
I love that they showed that, yeah, because you may say, because as I said earlier, they said, well, he's just a guy with a bow and arrow. Yeah, but they show he has a unique skill set that nobody else can do that he brings to the team. He's not, just like all of them, they all have a unique skill set that they bring to the team.
Something else too I like about this is that when they talk about the perimeter, right? They make a plan to actually. It's not like in Man of Steel where it's like let's just destroy everything. Like they have an actual plan to try and contain the damage and keep the fighting here in this area.
Which is what I always tell people is the difference between this movie, because I get that too from people. Well, what's the difference between Avengers? They were tearing up the city. No, they were not. They very clearly established a perimeter.
Yes.
Where they were containing the damage. That's the difference.
And you got Cap and Widow on the street. They're trying to help people out as much as they can. Well, you got Iron Man, Thor. Like, really, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk are doing most of the fighting here.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
But I like another aspect here, like the teamwork in this, right? They work as an actual team in this movie.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about the Avengers. The whole concept is that as a team, they're stronger than they are separately. And I don't think that we see it. Not even in the later movies, we don't see it as strong as we see it here. We do see it in the later movies, of course. We do see it, but here we see it in a way I don't think we ever see. And considering these characters don't know each other all that well, they're doing pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is another amazing scene, right? It's just like. This is going to go down in history as like that scene in Hard Boiled, right? Just like a continuous cut.
Yeah.
Where we see that it's panning around, just showing all of them. And it's just like such seamless transition. And you don't even realize that there hasn't been a cut yet. It's just continuous. Right down here, and again, we're seeing the teamwork, right? They're all fighting together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love how they had that little bit in there where Iron Man he fires a repulsor race and Captain America reflects it off the shield. Yeah.
Comes from the Ultimate Alliance games.
Yeah.
And then Hulk jabs the piece of metal and then Thor charges it up and uses charges electricity. And then here we go. Boom. Love that.
Sucker punch. Sucker punch Thor.
Oh
man!
I just love it. It's like it shows that Hulk's still, he's still gonna fuck things up if he can.
Oh man, he sucker punch Thor. Oh, that's such a great moment.
Oh,
and we still got the best Hulk moment coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not even the best one
in the whole entire MCU. We have the best Hulk moment coming up. Matter of fact, I'm going to go so far. It may just be the best moment in all of the MCU movies. Period.
Really. I mean, it's definitely up there. I'll say it that way. Now here we go. We got Cap going in and saving civilians. Again, something that you should see happen in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And of course, the obligatory Cap's got to lose his mask scene.
Whoa. Boom.
But I like this too. It's showing like the toll that the damage is taking on them.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, then listen. Well, we'll see later on when we have the scene after the credits, and everything like that, where they literally like almost too tired to eat.
Yeah. I love this too. I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
See, me, I would have went one better, but I guess since none of the rest of them had any lines. I would have had all of these famous actors be, be members of the, the Shadow Council.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
I'd have stuck Robert De Niro in there.
Oh yeah.
Al Pacino. Yeah.
What are you doing, Matt? I love this too, right? He's like, oh, really? Come on. Gotcha. That's another, kind of foreshadowing that there's I think in Civil War was where, where he fires at Stark, and Stark says you missed, and Hawkeye's like, no, made you look.
No, made you look. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. The best Hulk line ever. I love he pauses, he looks at him, he's like, you had enough? No. Puny God.
The look on Loki's face is priceless.
And he's whimpering.
When I saw this in the movie theater, you could not hear anything for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, hell no.
No. Everybody just lost it.
But you know what else I like too is like now there are 3 things Loki is afraid of. Because then we see in Ragnarok, when he sees the Hulk, he's like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here now.
Yeah.
And then when he does it, when Hulk does the same thing to Thor, and then Loki starts cheering.
Because let's face it, Loki's never had an ass whooping put on him like that before.
No.
Never. I mean, and the Hulk just picks it like a rag doll, just beats the stuffing out of him. Like, God, please.
Oh.
Nope.
Here you go. He's like, we'll lose power before you get through that thing. Don't even bother. Oh, here we go. This. You ever hear the tale of Jonah? So this is kind of funny because Drax tries the same thing in Guardians 2, remember?
Yeah.
Except that guy didn't have armor on the outside.
And he didn't even kill it, really. He thought he killed it.
No, yeah.
He comes busted out like, uh-oh.
Here's something too. Yeah, he's out of arrows, right? It's the practical problem with fighting with a bow and arrow.
Whoa.
Another great shot. Probably the best Hawkeye shot in the series. Well, no. I'd take that back. The best one is probably him and Ant-Man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But again, we're seeing like the toll of the battles taking on them. Like here we got them all bombarding the Hulk.
Yeah, because if you look at the Hulk, even the Hulk looks like he's tired now.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, like it's they can basically keep on going until they wear the Avengers out, and they just
because it's just wave after wave after wave coming. I mean, they're drones basically. That's all they are. I mean, the Chitauri. They can just keep throwing them at until they wear them down eventually.
Exactly. Yeah, they're basically bred exclusively to be soldiers.
Yeah, there's no strategy to.
Right.
There's no strategy to, the combat. It's just, just swarm.
Right. Because you remember Thanos' whole thing is he wants to get the stones. So he sends Loki to get the space stone, and Loki's like, well, I want Earth. He's like, all right, fine. You take over Earth, and then we'll give you the army, and then you give us the stones. Mm-hmm. And so that's what Loki's trying to do. He's just trying to subjugate Earth, basically. Wear them all out.
Whoa. There's too many of them, Tony. Run. There you go.
Also, we had that scene with Fury. He's like, I'm just going to pick up my bazooka. And when I'm watching that scene where Fury goes to the deck of the ship and he just takes the bazooka, it reminded me of that scene in Kick-Ass where the bodyguard is like, he's like, I'm going to go get my bazooka.
Yeah. Oh.
This is another great character moment here, right? With when Thor's about to help Cap up. He's like, are you sure you can still fight? And Cap's like, why? Are you getting sleepy? And Thor just kind of gives him like an acknowledge, like, all right, this guy can keep
Okay.
up.
Yeah, okay. You're pretty tough for a human.
This movie does a really good job of establishing how and why Thor respects Cap so much without ever saying a single word.
Without saying anything, yeah.
And there's a similar moment to that in Age of Ultron too, where Thor, lands afterwards, and Cap's like, "What? Where were you? We taking a nap?"
I mean, whenever I discuss this movie, and I really shouldn't discuss this movie with a lot of people because some people just don't understand certain things. And when I talk about the respect that Iron Man has for Captain America and for Thor, oh, well, how can Iron Man, he doesn't respect Captain America. He doesn't even like him. I said, it's got nothing to do with it. You can respect somebody without liking them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But for some reason, people don't seem to understand that concept. They say, well, how do you like somebody and you don't respect, and you don't like somebody, but I said, there's a lot of people I don't like, but I respect them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very simple concept. They don't have to be best friends. And as we can see, Iron Man and Captain America will never be best friends.
Yeah.
But they do respect each other. Until, of course, they have their fall. And even after their fall.
Even then, yeah.
Yeah, And like you said, you have Thor. He never says it, but we can see quite plainly that he has a lot of respect for Captain America.
Oh,
like
yeah.
We just saw earlier when Captain America was giving out orders, everything. Thor just said, gotcha. And he's going. He's gone. Yeah.
Now this, just the look on Stark's face. He's seeing all this.
Yeah. Now, this is when Tony really starts to, okay, he's already been through the torture, but this is another traumatic moment that he goes through that adds to his mental wonkiness.
Absolutely, yeah. And they all start falling one by one.
And yes, we got to give him credit. Tony Stark saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's closing.
Here we go. Right at the last second. Just barely makes it out.
Ooh.
Son of a gun. This is before Cap starts swearing.
Yeah.
I like this. Thor's about ready to go up and save him. Then Hulk's the one who jumps in.
Uh-huh.
Again, this ties into, the kind of respect that him and Banner, the relationship that they've established. And that's why the Hulk goes in to save him.
Uh-huh. They're going to be cleaning up this shit for years.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Kingpin is anyway.
Yeah. No, well, this is Midtown Manhattan. This is like further uptown. This isn't like, no, Hell's Kitchen is Midtown. Hell's Kitchen is like around 50th Street, stuff like that. So this isn't that far from, that isn't too far from Hell's Kitchen. He hit the whole road and woke him up.
What just happened?
And see, these are things, like you said, going back to what you said, these are things you don't see in the comic books. They're tired, they're sweaty, clothes are torn, their hair is mussed up, they're bleeding and everything like that, which adds to the whole situation. See, we can buy it because we see that they're just as beat up as,
I love that, yeah, and shawarma after. You always think about it, like, look, man, we just won a battle. Can't we just eat? Here we go. Another great shot.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have that drink now.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love it's okay. You know what? I had to because one look on their face, you can tell, listen, we're done with this shit. Okay.
Mhm.
I love that. He said, okay, I'll take that drink now.
Doesn't that guy look a little like Paul Rudd, the top screen?
Yes, he does. And the Avengers are the darling of
There we go, Stan Lee.
Mhm.
Superheroes in New York? No. You know what I would have liked better if they got Gary Shandling to reprise his role from Iron Man 2 as that senator.
Yeah.
Because they got him to come in what was it? Winter Soldier. Would have been cool if we could get him there too.
Have I mentioned how much I like that outfit that Thor is wearing? That
Oh
outfit
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job on his design.
Yeah, you look at it, and I noticed they did, you look at it and you can see both elements of Jack Kirby and
Mm-hmm.
Walt Simonson.
And also the Ariel Olivetti, the more modern incarnation, when he was doing it with Straczynski. Because that's where the armor came from. Smirk on Hawkeye's face. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's in for shit." And the sign of respect between Tony and Steve.
Yep.
Natasha keeping her word, letting Banner go off on his own.
I'm gonna find out who that chick is.
Yeah.
Right after
I'm curious now. Yeah.
Right after I finish with you, I'm gonna find out who that chick is.
So there was actually another. I don't know if you ever saw this, but there was an alternate intro and outro to this movie. The original opening starts off with like it shows the end of the battle, like it shows the devastation, like with Cap standing there and looking over that was actually used at the beginning of the movie originally, and
Really?
it was Hill giving a report to the Shadow Council, and then the movie at the end it cuts back to Hill talking to the Shadow Council, and then she gets them to kind of incriminate themselves that they launched the nuke, and she's like recording it, and then reveal that it's kind of trying to set up this idea that she's trying to betray Fury, but she's actually working with him the whole time. It's interesting. Okay. It's an interesting alternate take on it. I like the rebuilding Stark Tower's Avengers Tower, setting up, finding space for the Quinjet in there and everything. And of course, here we got it's just like the way they designed this building where it even looks like a subtle A, the way it's constructed.
Yeah.
And
nothing's left with the A. Yeah.
And I love this this thing we get here at the end, over the last credits before the mid-credit scene, where we get the close-ups on the costumes. We see like the design, and also it's after the battle, right? Because you see how worn this stuff is.
Yeah.
And just like, this theme, Alan Silvestri's theme, this is going to go down in history. This is going to be an iconic theme.
And you know what? That's probably one of the few, because outside of the Avengers theme, there's not really a lot of theme songs from MCU movies that I think that I can point at and say, okay, well, that's an iconic theme.
I can think of maybe Captain America. That kind of March type theme that they play. Like when I hear that, I know that's Captain America.
I can't remember the other song better from there.
Oh, the man with the plan.
Star-Spangled Man with a Plan. That's the one I'm sorry. That's the one I remember. Star-Spangled Man with a Plan. But but the Avengers theme, that's.
And I realized it when I was watching the trailer for Infinity War, and they're playing kind of like a more somber version of the theme, and I'm just like, and I could feel getting pumped up already. And especially when
Oh
you
yeah.
watch in the middle of the movie um, when Wanda and Vision are attacked, and then Sam, Cap, and the Widow arrive, and the theme starts playing. Like that's like this huge build up moment too.
Jenny Agutter. That's who that is.
Who was that?
I just saw in the credit, Jenny Agutter.
Oh, okay.
That's who that is. From Logan's Run?
Oh, I never saw Logan's Run actually.
You never saw Logan's Run?
No.
I'm surprised. Okay, well, okay, look up Jenny Agutter. That's who that's the woman in Shadow Cancel. That's her.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it. I don't know why I've never seen that before. Maybe because I'm actually looking and I'm not jumping up and down and screaming and cheering. I'm actually reading the credits for a change. That's who. Okay, that's who that is. That's Jenny Agutter. Okay, now we come to the what has now become standard for all MCU movies.
Mm-hmm.
We get a mid-credit sequence.
And this kind of shows that they had something more in line with the comics for Thanos originally.
Yeah.
Because his line here, right, to challenge them is to court death. And then we get Thanos looking at the camera and just like the smile on his face. So this is back when they were still using the whole thing about Thanos is in love with death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pre-Brolin Thanos we got there.
And you can just tell just from that, even just that one little bit that we see, that this was very much more in line with the comic book version of Thanos than the one that we eventually got.
Absolutely,
yeah. That they redesigned them a lot for, But here, I believe that he was just CGI. And later on, of course, he was played by Josh Brolin.
Well, they did have an actor playing him.
They did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. The original actor.
Yeah, World Security Council, Powers Booth, and Jenny Agutter. Okay, yeah, they are credited.
Yeah, okay.
Kenneth Tygar. That's the name of the actor, the old man that stands up and defies Loki.
Oh, okay.
Kenneth Tygar. Look him up. This guy goes back to like the 1930s, 1940s. He's been around in movies forever.
Okay, so the original guy was Damien Poitier. And something like that, yeah. No, it's spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right.
Don't worry about it. He won't see you.
But yeah, they're applied to Damien Poitier by Tom Flouts, and it was just basically the makeup and the helmet and the armor, and let's see. Oh, so the original, so they whitewashed Thanos. The original Thanos was a black guy.
Oh, they did. Cool.
Yeah. And he was also in some of the other ones. He's a stuntman too. So he was in Civil War too. So it looks like they still gave him stuff to do. Yeah, he was one of the he was one of the guys working for Crossbones in Civil War.
Oh, okay. Was he in the elevator scene?
No, that was Winter Soldier.
Oh, right. Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Civil War. He was when they were in Africa in the beginning. He was one of the guys working with Crossbones there.
See, people always ask me, they say, well, how do you keep watching movies over and over again? I said, I have to, because after a while, I watch so many movies, after a while, they blur. I forget.
Yeah. That happens to me all the time. Like, didn't I see that? Wasn't that in this movie? Or I remember something completely different?
Yeah.
Jesus, credits are so much work went into this movie.
Now, while we're sitting through the credits waiting for the ending, I will tell you that I am one of these people that, I sit through the credits. We'll go to movies, and as soon as the credit starts, my wife and about like 60% of the audience gets up and runs for the exit like somebody just hollered fire. I have no idea why people so although I can understand, these are very long credits, and some people got to go to the bathroom, they got small bladders or whatever like that. And people ask me, they say, well, Derek, why do you sit through the credits? What's the point? there is no point except for the fact that these are people that gave up a considerable amount of time to provide the entertainment I just watched. And I don't think it's, for me personally, I don't think it's too much of a hardship for me to sit there for a couple more minutes and just, sit through the credits. So that's something
it's actually common in Japan. It's very common in Japan for people to wait until the credits end and the lights come on in the theaters.
Yeah, it's just well, me, I'm kind of anal like that because, and Patricia will tell you if you ever meet her, she would say, "Oh God, going to the movies with Derek." I have to be in my seat with my popcorn and my snacks and everything before the trailer starts.
Oh, same. I'm the same.
And
I hate arriving after the trailer starts.
I don't go in.
Oh, really?
Nope. Listen. If the trailers have already started, before I buy my ticket, I'll ask them, "Have the trailer started?" "Oh no, you got plenty of time." "Okay, cool." And then I'm going. If they tell me trailers, I don't go in.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And I sit there and I wait on. I sit through. Patricia, she'll go outside. She'll go to the ladies' room and she'll sit in the lobby. No, she'll talk on the phone, call her girlfriends, and wait. And
she'll be like, "Yeah, he's doing it again."
Yeah, she's used to it. And I will sit there. But like I said, that's just me. I understand why people do. You know the only time I ever walked out on the credits?
What was that?
When I went to see Van Helsing.
I'm surprised you didn't walk out earlier, actually.
Oh, yeah, but you know something? Okay, I've sat through movies with long credits before, but Van Helsing was ridiculous. That shit was crazy.
I mean, everything about Van Helsing was ridiculous. That movie was just terrible.
Oh my God.
I mean, poor Hugh Jackman, man. He was expecting to expand and do something other than Wolverine, and then they give him that piece of shit.
Yeah, that wasn't. Why didn't? Oh, well, we were in Florida.
Oh, okay.
We were in Florida. Yeah, we were on vacation in Florida. So, we were just looking for something to do anyway. And I really wasn't all that interested. I really wasn't all that interested in seeing it. Neither was Patricia, but, it was like 100 degrees. And we drove by a movie theater. We had come from someplace else and we drove by a movie theater. And Patricia said, "Shit, let's go to movies." I said, "Okay, cool, let's go." And that was we said, "Just give us a ticket to whatever going to be playing next." They said, "Oh, well, Van Helsing." Okay, boom. But I mean, I got up and I walked out. I said, "You know what? This is insane. I've never seen end credits this long. And I've seen some long end credits. But the ones for Van Helsing is insane." So yes, that's the only time I've ever walked out on credits.
And here we go. We're just at the end of the credits now, and we're gonna get. So the thing with there's actually a little story behind this extra credit scene because the Thanos scene got spoiled, it got leaked. So then Whedon went back and he got everyone together to film this scene so they could put it in instead at the end.
and they look like they had just utterly, totally beat.
Yeah.
Look at Hawkeye's just like. He's gonna fall out the chair in a minute.
Look at Cap too. He looks half asleep himself.
Yeah. Bruce Banner's all hunched over. Black Panther.
And look, Thor is just shoving like the whole thing in his mouth. All right, and that is the end of Avengers.
Such a great ending.
Amazing movie.
Such a great ending to a movie.
I mean, up until Endgame, that was bar none my favorite of the MCU.
I am so glad that somebody picked it. I don't even want to say that.
It was the fans who picked it because they.
I don't even want to say our fans picked it. They disappointed me with this one. No, but I'm glad that this one was picked because this is simply just so much fun to watch. Like I said, I watched it last night and I got this morning. I said, "Shit, you know what? I'm going to watch it again," and I watched it again. And it's a movie that I could probably put on right now. I've watched it now. I could probably watch this thing again before.
Oh yeah. I do a thing too. Whenever I start falling down a rabbit hole whenever I watch this movie because I'm like, I watch this one. I'm like, let's watch Age of Ultron and then let's watch Civil War next.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it's going to be Avengers movies in the next couple because like that. Now I want to watch Age of Ultron now.
Yeah.
And of course, if I watch Age of Ultron, oh well, what the hell? I might as well watch Infinity War.
Exactly. Yeah, just keep on going.
And then before I know it, it's 3:00 in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you go to bed already. But anyway, yeah, thank you. This was a lot of fun. I
This
enjoyed it.
was, yeah, this was a lot. Worked out a lot better than I thought it might have, because this is a new type of thing we were trying out, and it turned out. I think it worked out pretty well. I had a lot of
Yeah,
fun doing this.
yeah. I thought, like you said, it worked out a lot better than I thought, thought it would. But it was, I attributed to the company and
Yes.
subject matter.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the nice things is like, because I don't actually think I've ever watched this movie with someone else who's a big a fan of comic books as like you are.
Oh, okay.
Because like so being able to watch it and have that kind of experience, like it's always a new experience when you watch a movie with someone else, but
True.
being able to watch it with someone who understands the source material and all that, and you can talk about things like the helicarrier and Hawkeye's relationships and all that kind of stuff. Like it makes it gives it a totally different experience watching this movie again.
It most certainly did, because I you were throwing things in there. You made me look at the movie in a new way and see some things I hadn't saw before, which to me is the value of watching a movie with somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
That other person is bringing other things to the movie, and they point out, "Oh shit, I never thought about that before."
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. We'll have to do this again, if providing that this proves to be popular and more people want to see it.
Yeah, I think people probably like. Well, I hope people like. Well, let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments here. Let us know on our Facebook group what you think. If you like this kind of format, if you want to see us do more commentaries like this, and obviously, I think we'd both be happy to do it.
I'd be happy to do it. Just pick out a movie for us to watch, and we'll let you know. It depends on the movie.
Depends on the movie. Yeah, I don't know if we can do a live stream of Steel.
Oh God, no! I know. You know what? I know I threatened it, and I said, you know what? I shouldn't do that shit because somebody will be crazy enough to take me up.
Well, you see on the comments, some people are like, what? I kind of want to see you guys do that now.
Yeah. You can't make suggestions to certain people because they'll take you up on it. They'll say, yeah, okay, do that shit. So oh man. Okay.
All right. So, do we have any final thoughts we wanted to say about Avengers?
Only that if you have not yet seen it, I suggest that you watch it on your own first, and then afterwards watch it again with our commentary.
If you got to the end of this episode by now, then
no, but I mean, this is okay. Decide. This movie truly is an event in every sense of the word, because we had never seen a superhero movie like. I mean, you thought you never saw a superhero movie before when you got Superman and you got Iron Man and you got Batman. This is a quantum level leap in what a superhero movie could be.
Absolutely.
We had absolutely never seen anything like this before, and it was done with a level of professionalism and style and exuberance and fun that really, to me, define. When you talk about a movie that's an event, it's the Avengers.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely well said. And hats off to. I know Whedon's fallen down, had a fall from grace recently with all stuff that's come out about him in recent years, but I mean, nothing can take away from just what an amazing piece of work he did with this movie.
And can I just say something real quick on that?
Yeah.
Because I know I've got some people that are out there saying, well, Joss Whedon, well, how can you watch his movies? Listen, it's not just Joss Whedon. There's a whole bunch of other talented people in this movie, in front of the camera, behind the camera, got nothing to do with Joss Whedon. So what? I'm supposed to just not watch the movie altogether and throw them out as well as him? No, I'm not prepared to do that. It's just that simple. I'm not. Okay. Like you said, okay, we see that the cat is kind of hinky, but there's a lot of talented people that worked on this movie, and their work does not deserve to be thrown out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you're just looking at the cast alone, I mean, this cast is unbelievable in this
exactly. Movie. Never was a cast of such talent like this put together for a superhero movie.
No, absolutely not.
This was a superhero movie that was treated with the same respect that a Francis Ford Coppola movie is given, or maybe not George Lucas,
old George Lucas, maybe.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This was given a level of respect that, and this movie surprised a lot of people when they saw it, because a lot of people swore this movie could never be pulled off.
Oh yeah, I was one of them. I thought, in fact, I remember way back when, buddy of mine, whenever we talked about superhero movies, it was always like, "What about Avengers?" Oh, they'll never be able to do Avengers.
And I have learned with Avengers and with Black Panther to stop saying, "Well, they can't do that." I don't say that shit anymore. I don't, because apparently they can do it.
Yeah.
They can, So I've learned to stop saying that. But yeah, Avengers is a movie that, I mean, it's a movie I never get tired of. Look, I don't believe if I'm live to be 90 years old, I'll still be watching Avengers.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, like, my daughter is going to grow up watching these movies. She's going to be able to recite them by the time she's able to speak.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Got to hook them while they're young.
Yeah, seriously. Hey, drug dealers do it.
Oh, yeah.
Why not movie fans? That's how I got to that's how I got to love movies. My parents took me when I was young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So that does it for this special 50 episodes, man. Can you believe it? 50 episodes we've been doing this show.
50 episodes. Oh my God.
And it's been a lot of fun. Like I look forward to doing this show every week now.
Yeah, it's, you know what, this has been a lot of fun. I always said that, I'm never going to do another podcast again. And people say, well, how did you get to do this one? I said, I have absolutely no idea. People told me what it is. Listen, I said, next thing I know, I've done 5 episodes, up to 10 episodes. I said, now I've done 50. I said, I don't know how I am. But I don't regret a single moment of that. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we got to pick what we're going to watch for the next episode. So let's see. You requested New Mutants. I did Iron Man, and then fans voted on Avengers. So I guess we'll toss it back to you if you got a pick ready.
No.
Nope. Okay, so then I will. Then I got something. I got it.
I'll tell you what. You go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead and pick, and I'll definitely have something ready for next time, because I don't want to come up with something just off the top of my head.
So I thought we'd do something unique, something completely different from what we've done before. And instead of doing a regular superhero movie, I thought we'd look at a superhero movie documentary. Oh. And so I want to look at what happened, the death of Superman Lives.
Oh, okay.
So this is
the one about the one that Nicolas Cage was supposed to do, right?
Yeah. This is a documentary. It was a crowdfunded documentary, actually. So it was crowdfunded, and the guy was. Because we've had stories circling around for years about this movie that never happened.
Right.
And, we've had Kevin Smith's, doing his amazing stand-up routine about it, basically.
Oh, man. I love that movie when he does that. And I've seen that routine, I don't know how many times. Mm-hmm. And that's like Richard Pryor level humor. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. And he's in that too, and Tim Burton's in it, and they were able to interview like almost everybody who was involved at some form in this movie.
Really? You know what? I've heard about this, but I've never seen it. I'm glad you picked this. Now it gives me an excuse to stop bullshitting around and sit down and actually watch it.
I think you'll definitely. The interesting thing is, like, I was very curious going into watching the movie, and after I finished watching the documentary, all I could think was, Superman Lives would have been an absolute train wreck, but I kind of wish I had been able to see it.
That's what everybody says. Everybody says, yeah, that movie would have been they said it would have been a god-awful mess. But at the same time, they said, but you know what? I really want to see that.
Yeah.
I really want to see it.
All right. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're still listening on the podcast feed, if you're new to us through YouTube, welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh, one thing I should plug real quickly, All American Sports Stories, published by Airship 27. I have a novella in there called Brooklyn Beatdown. It's boxing stories. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, your old Brooklyn Beatdown, that was part of the, that was originally published as a standalone, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was originally published as part of a series of books called The Fight Card.
That was it, yeah.
And what had happened was that Ron Fortier of Airship 27, he said, well, I have an anthology series I have of sports stories. He said, and I like to, reprint your book as part of it.
Mhm.
Which I say, yeah, go ahead, take it. Don't worry about it. So anyway, so it's in there along with two other fine stories, one written by Ron, other one written by, I cannot think of the name of the other gentleman there. I hope he will forgive me. But yeah, if I heartily recommend it, if for nothing else, then I write one hell of a boxing story. So, and I hope to have some more news coming in another couple of weeks about something else I did, but we'll see. But
Okay.
anyway, that's something new I got out there. If y'all guys
Awesome.
want something to read.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys haven't checked out Derek's work, definitely go do that. You can check out my stuff as well. You go to our website, superherocinephiles.com. We got links to all that stuff. You just go over there. We got a special section where you can find our different websites, our different writing work. All that stuff you can find right there, easy to access. We're on Facebook. We got a Facebook group, Superhero Cinephiles. Just do a search for it. It should pop right up. And other than that, you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Super Cinema Pod for both of those. If you go to the website, you can toss us a few bucks either through Patreon or through PayPal. Help us keep the lights on. And yeah, let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know if you want to do some more. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and comment right below. And we will be back next week when we talk about what happened, the death of Superman Lives.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening and watching. God bless. Test negative, stay positive.
There you go. Good way to end it. And don't forget, wear a mask. Thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at superherocinephiles.com and remember to subscribe to watch more of our videos.